We are live. We are back.
We're back. Did you miss us?
I'm Corey.
I'm Jordan.
And this is the Cordan Full Effect podcast, and we are back.
Like we never left.
We are back like we never left. Episode 9. What's that mean? And one more episode will be at 10. We'll be in the top 20% of podcasts that are active.
Let's go.
Putting in that work.
Yes.
As y'all have seen, the scene has, y'all has the bar, 10 seconds in, the bars. A new scene. We have upgraded from the first floor to the third floor.
Hey.
Construction's in progress. Thank Jordan, because I don't live here, so he's been doing all this work.
Welcome to the office.
Yes, but for first-time listeners, like I said, I'm Corey. That's
Jordan.
And we are discussing finances and
fitness,
or wealth and
health,
or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to help you stay motivated and disciplined on your financial and
fitness
journey. And we're going to make sure you remember to save more and say less, and
keep making better your best.
And we're going to keep working on that intro for new listeners. But that's what I got for right now.
How'd y'all like that?
I don't freaking know.
All right.
Housekeeping, house cleaning, feedback. Did you get feedback?
I did not. People listened to it. They liked it. I mean,
people listened to it. They liked it. What's it? Working on the stream deck. I'm not gonna hold it up because people on the YouTube can see it. You can see it right there though once it goes away. So we're gonna.
People don't know what the stream deck is, Corey.
Oh, soundboard.
Thank
soundboard.
You.
I mean, my bad. That's the company. But yeah, we're gonna work on getting that set up so we can have that, so you guys can. One, again, be careful what you wish for. We got 32 keys that we can put some things on, but that will be fun. We got that set up. I didn't get any feedback either. I was told I sound more comfortable, but that was on episode 7, so.
I mean, we locked in.
2 episodes behind. We think we may have, not permanently, but we have made progress on fixing the audio issues.
Let's put it this way. It only took us 30 to 45 minutes to get set up this time instead of 2 hours. So we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Streamlining that process.
Right.
Work with us.
And then I also wanted to say, Jordan and I were matching on the last few episodes. Not intentional, right? I mean, Jordan lives here, so he can just change his clothes.
But I ain't want to, so.
I could come as you are, whatever the Bible says. So I remember that. Crap. Let me see. I think I have one more thing to say for the housekeeping. My bad, y'all.
You good. Take your time. But not really, because we live. So
I forgot. People keep asking me about my my pricing for the financial coaching. That is now on my link tree. I have not found a good way to explain it so it makes sense. Quickly. I haven't found a 60-second or under way to explain it, but it's $20 an hour, right? But then I don't know anything about your finances, so it's actually $50 for the first 4 hours. So I can get all your information out.
And what are we doing in that first 4 hours, Corey?
Everything.
Okay.
That's essentially like every coaching session in one session.
Got you.
Most people don't like. I need to know exactly how much your bills are and all these different type of things, where you're at, your housing, living situation, or your goals long term, all those things. So when we have the $20 hour session, we can move forward in a positive manner. Or you can pay $50 for a whole month for one hour session a week, which is obviously cheaper, because if you do 4 on an hourly basis, you'll be at $80 versus $50. And then on top of that, you get locked in to the monthly price. So if you get $50 in now, that's it. You're locked in at $50.
Y'all better get it on this ground floor. I'm trying to tell you.
Then if if you happen to cancel, you come back, price might change. And then obviously for the hourly, that's good for a month. So if you come in July, it might not be $20.
I'm gonna just plug them in. Give Corey money.
Give Jordan and his wife money.
Hey, give Corey money.
Yes, nice transition to shameless plug. So you can follow me at @sideline_Corey. You can follow Jordan at
Stop Stalling J. That's STOPSTALLINGJAY on everything.
And the business page at
FinallyFit 06 FINALLYFIT 06 on IG and Facebook.
And then we also have our YouTube page, which is Cordan in Full Effect. And all of that information will be in our show notes. And please, y'all watching this YouTube video, I don't know why you haven't liked it yet. I don't know why you didn't hit the bell yet for the YouTube algorithm. I don't think the bell's for the YouTube algorithm, but the liking is. That's for it. You need to comment, you need to subscribe. Same thing on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Leave us rating reviews so we know how to make this better. I mean, we've been trying to take y'all feedback and implement it as quickly and as feasibly as possible. So I don't know what else to say with that. I think we've had a good rate.
I think we're doing good.
I wish I would press sound, but probably break everything if I hit that.
Everything just close out.
Right. We have to start back. I think we're only 5 minutes in, but Okay, we good to go?
I think we're good.
All right, done our house cleaning. So, for those y'all again, first time listeners, the first segment will be a fitness segment, and the second segment will be a finance segment. So, fitness question number 1. This is from, we have guest questions. I forgot. We have guest questions today. We finally got some guest questions.
Yes.
So I don't think
that interactive feedback. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I'll make the disclaimer again. The finance questions are all guest-based questions. So I know that we say enjoy our makeup questions, but if guests give us questions, we will answer you guys' questions first, and we'll do our best to answer all of your questions on the podcast that's immediate after you ask your question. So for finance, all the questions we're going to do are not from either of us. The internet has spoken, and we're going to do our job to answer them. For fitness, this first question, the only one right,
correct,
is a guest question. So for this person, here goes your question. I guess it's to Jordan technically, but what made you start your fitness journey?
I mean, it could be both of us. I mean,
yeah.
We both got a fitness journey.
I mean, you're the fitness person now.
I got you. So good question. Thanks for asking. There are a couple things that made me start my fitness journey. So my wife and I started dating back in 2016. So this is just, a little backstory on it. And we were, when you're dating, you're getting comfortable. But when you date, what do? You go out to
eat.
Eat a lot.
You said when you
date.
No.
PG-13, Cory. All right, when you...
We have the explicit tag on.
We do.
Hey, last episode, you can lead from the back.
I started early today. We 6 minutes in. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, my wife and I started dating back in 2016, and we started eating out a lot. And I'm talking about a lot. Like we were eating good. I mean, this is like right after I got out of college. I got my little first
eating good, making a fourth income you make now with a whole bunch of debt.
Exactly.
Sounds like y'all right now in your current state. It's like, let me stop. Hey,
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm living in my mom's house. You know what I mean? Look, I'm eating good. You know what I mean? Like. Bills. This was before I was fitness savvy and before I was
financial savvy. Yeah, this is 2016.
Exactly.
So hey, 2 years too late.
That's what I'm saying.
Or too early in this case.
I'm out here. We just doing whatever we want to do. And when I say we're eating good. So I mean, example, Cheesecake Factory, right?
Ooh, like, I love Cheesecake Factory.
I do too. It's so good.
Their menu's so versatile.
Oh,
and it changed seasonally. People be hating.
They really do.
McDonald's is good too.
It is.
By the way, it's your food. Eat what you want.
I mean, But at the same time, make sure you portion control, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Frequency.
Now, let's talk about, we're talking about initial now, so you can eat bad when you just start.
Right. Ignorance, okay? If you don't know, we can't hold you accountable, all right? But once you know, all right? Yeah, I'm looking at y'all, YouTube. Be accountable. Anyways, back to Cheesecake Factory. So, yeah, for those who know, Cheesecake Factory got a lot of stuff. And nothing on that menu is under 500 calories. Like, I'm talking about nothing.
Not even salads?
Not even the salads. You'd be surprised how many calories salads have. Have you had a salad, like looked at the caloric intake?
I must say, I know they've been updating menus as of late. Does Cheesecake have everything, the calories on the side?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, me, I can read, but I'm tunnel vision. If you need somebody to multitask, I'm not the person, so I just look at the food. But I'll try to remember that next time.
You want what you want it?
Man, look.
I got you. It'd be like that. I mean, let's be honest. You go to Cheesecake Factory, you're not going to get a salad.
Right.
I mean, most people don't. It's called Cheesecake Factory.
Hey, that cheesecake be hitting.
It's smacking.
Yeah.
So
let's say, this is not a food podcast.
It is not. Oh man, so that being said, we were eating Cheesecake Factory frequently, and what we were getting, so like I would go, and we would go together, and I would get an appetizer, she would get an appetizer, I would get an entree, she would get an entree, she would get the dessert, I would get the dessert, and then we got cheesecakes to go. So what is that? That's 8 different dishes. Remember I just told you, so 8 different dishes, nothing is under 500 calories, so we're talking about at least 4,000 calories total for the meal, right? 8 times 5 is okay. I'm
400. Yes,
thank you.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
got
okay.
you. There's another.
I'm just thinking. This is before y'all moved in together, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you get this money from?
What you mean? I'm at home.
True.
I'm at home, and I'm not.
Because I'm thinking like you wasn't making.
I'm not fiscally responsible at the time. The only, you know what I mean? Loans and deferment. All I got is a car payment. Like I'm living my best life. Like I got it, girl. Let's go. I'm also I'm dating my life.
Right. You're making first impression. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not struggling financially, even though I am.
Exactly. I'm fake it till I make it.
Yeah,
and I hadn't made it yet. But
also, remember this. This is 2016. This is not how they are currently living.
Yes.
Some of you are currently living this way. Don't do this.
Do not.
or stop you doing it.
Exactly.
Stop.
This is how not to live wealth conscious or health conscious.
Right.
Okay?
So you balling on a budget and you're eating unhealthy.
Yes. I mean, and then, so what it really was, because again, I'm not trying to downplay Cheesecake Factory, right? The food is good. You can have it. You probably shouldn't have had what we had per sitting, but the frequency is what really got us, right? We were going to Cheesecake Factory, I kid you not, 4 to 6 times a month. Like, so that's more than once a week, bruh. Ordering 8 things off the menu. You know what I mean? And this is just one of our go-to places. Like, so Cheesecake Factory, it's not like we're, eating healthy throughout the week and then we're having Cheesecake Factory. Like, nah, I'm having Burger King, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you feel like going to Cheesecake Factory tonight? And then we go there and get half the menu and come back.
Now I see why you didn't want to pay for Jessica's meal.
Because, I mean...
Jessica, we'll be back to you.
We'll come back.
We'll be back to you in the finance section.
Sit tight, all right? But, okay, so this is a
long... Y'all was reckless.
We were.
Sheesh.
Literally.
You said 46 times a month?
I'm talking about 46 times a month, bro. And this went on,
When did she marry you?
Look.
You said it's, look.
You know, cheesecake became as common to us as some people's McDonald's, like real talk. Like, I mean, we hitting up cheesecake on the regular. So we were doing that, and then, so we moved into our apartment together in February 2018, and I forgot what event we were going to. I think it was like a pool party or something. But long story short, I looked in the mirror, and I did not like what I saw, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And that's the same, and let's be very clear, I'm not telling you, you know what I mean, to, start self-hating yourself, but like, I mean, you gotta be happy with what you're looking at, right? This is you. You gotta love you, self-love, right?
Yeah, self-deprecation.
Thank you. So if you don't like what you see, I mean, you got options, right? You can actively decide to do something about it, or you can sit and stay where you're at and keep repeating your actions that got you there. And I decided to make a choice. So that was one of the reasons. I mean, just from a physical standpoint, I mean, I wasn't happy. I was up. I felt like a shell of my former self. So for those who don't know, I used to be a collegiate athlete. You know what I mean? I used to play football. I was in pretty good shape at one point in time. But that was, I mean, I graduated college in 2015. So we're talking about, 2018, I'm looking in the mirror, 3 years. You know, putting on that relationship weight, I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? But I don't look the way I want to.
Women always say that. I got on this weight once I started dating you. Shoot, you got cheesecake 4 times since I'm... That's different.
And it wasn't just me. So my wife felt the same way. We kind of just had to sit down and we were like, I think we're eating a lot. Like a lot.
2 years later? That's just so funny though.
It is. I mean, it takes a while to realize, because I mean, you're happy, right? If things are going well in your life, you tend to kind of put things like this to the side, right? It's more so just like, from a feeling standpoint, I'm dating my, I mean, she's not my wife at the time, but I'm dating someone I'm taking seriously. We had just moved in together. We got an apartment. So, again, in my head,
you're courting.
Exactly. All is well, right? Until it's not. So, the next reason that I started my fitness journey, in July of 2018, I actually had a doctor's appointment because I wasn't feeling well. Started having stomach issues. I mean, we can get into it. I don't care. I don't mind sharing. Is that cool?
You've already said it.
Okay. So yeah. So I, started having stomach issues.
You already said what you have.
Gotcha. Frequently using the bathroom. And long story short, I ended up getting diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which basically means my colon produces too much acid. And there are medicines. It's a chronic condition. So what that means is you can't get rid of it. You just basically improve quality of life. They don't necessarily know exactly what causes it at this point in time. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I think I got an idea of what caused mine. I mean, between the cheesecake, 4 to 6 the cheesecake 4 to 6 times a month, and
the alcohol.
Yeah, let's be honest. Okay, so college, I had a great time in college. Okay, I probably partied enough in college in 4 years for a decade.
Yeah, Bowie State's a dry school as well, which means you can't have alcohol on campus even if you're 21.
Listen, so, and I'm
what?
not, so
who followed that rule?
Look, I mean,
not the adults.
So between Bowie, and then I also spent a year, for those who don't know, I spent a year and a half at West Virginia Wesleyan College. I'm gonna be very clear about West Virginia. Shout out to my my WWC guys, but all they do in West Virginia is drink. They know how to get lit in West Virginia.
West Virginia, the state. Ooh,
listen,
my goodness.
You go out there on St. Patrick's Day, you just gotta be prepared to fall asleep on somebody's floor somewhere. Like it's really real. But so needless to say, I was having a great time in college. But I put a lot of stress and duress on my body. Alcohol, Taco Bell, okay, and I mean, this ain't a direct diss to Taco Bell, but let's be very clear. There's some things that shouldn't be eaten probably at all, but if you are going to eat them, you shouldn't have them frequently. I was eating Taco Bell like 3 or 4 times a week. Like, and
it's right down the street from Bowie too.
Listen, around the corner, it's open all night.
Yeah.
Okay, this was back when they had things on the menu that were less than $1. So if you got $5, you can eat like a king at Taco Bell.
Remember we had to connect in there. Remember I was playing Clash of Clans and the manager he started giving us free food.
Bruh, that's crazy. So backstory on that, like
I used to play Clash of Clans. It's a mobile. I mean, most of y'all know it's very popular app. But I was playing that all through college,
all the time,
even during tests. Because I was addicted to that.
Really
we went to Taco Bell one day, and the manager was like, "Oh, you play Clash of Clans?" And I just started breaking it down to him. Then I guess for the trade of information I gave him for Clash of Clans, he decided to give us free food from Taco Bell.
Free food.
Yeah.
So everybody got a plug, right? Imagine having a Taco Bell plug
in college. In
right.
college,
and it's 10 minutes down the street.
Oh man.
So that being said, I ate
Yeah.
I don't think Corey, were you? I mean, every time you came to campus, I think I would ask you to stop by Taco Bell, right?
Let's be very clear. My diet, even till this day, well, now my diet's better. It's not my turn, I guess, but yeah. I mean, talking about college?
Yeah.
Come on now. I wasn't eating Fuji 4 to 6 times. I mean, no, my bad. I was eating Fuji twice a month.
Okay.
At least every time I got paid, I would go get Fuji.
Gotcha.
And obviously you add in Taco Bell, Chipotle, all that. I was eating Chipotle on an average of twice a week.
Oh wow.
I was eating Chipotle. There were some days.
So they're not okay. Cool.
No, I was saying some days. Some days I would eat Chipotle, then I would come home and my mom would have gotten me Chipotle. That's how much I was having Chipotle twice in one day.
So you was yamming. All right, bet.
Yeah.
So saying all that to say, yeah, we had our fun in college, right? I put a lot of stress on my body. I think that also contributed to the condition in which I was diagnosed. You have to maintain, you don't have to, but basically what the medicine that they give you for ulcerative colitis does is just help you improve your quality of life. So yeah, I started taking that, but long story short, after I was doing research on ulcerative colitis, I started realizing that one of the things that helps not fix, but de-escalate a lot of the flare-ups that you'll have in ulcerative colitis. Because that's what happens, right? Ultimately, when your colon starts acting up, it produces a lot of acid. When that happens, it can cause blood in your stool, it can cause frequent stomach aches. I mean, everything just starts going out of whack, right? From a gastro perspective. So in order to maintain that, you eat a healthier diet and you become more active. Basically, the more active, the more in shape, the more of a productive fitness lifestyle that you have, the less likely you are to have a flare-up from an ulcerative colitis standpoint. All right, and I can tell you that being where I'm at now, that worked. Okay, it still works. Currently, I'm actually 2 months off my medicines. I haven't taken a pill in 60 days, and I have not had a flare-up. Haven't had a stomach ache. But guess what? I'm in a lot better shape I was than July 2018.
Yeah. So ultimate disclaimer: if you have to exercise and eat properly, and word is you get kind of rid of all the diseases.
Literally.
So
I mean,
we're not doctors, though, but
we're not. I mean, but that's just. I mean, I'm living it, right? So I'm living proof in the sense that if you take care of your body, you only get one body. I feel like people fail to realize like you only get one of these. Like so, people are just running it through the ground like you're going to get another one. Like I know you can get some replacements for stuff. You can get a replacement, heart replacement. You probably, they can replace eyes and ears now, they can restore your hearing. It's some wild stuff out there. Science has come a long way.
Yeah, they're making progress.
But that being said, you only get one body, right? So you got to make sure you take care of it. You want to live your life in accordance with, something that's going to produce longevity, right? You want to be here for a long time and you want to have a good quality of life while you're here. So in order to do that, I recommend living a fitness lifestyle. So those were the two main contributions to why I started my fitness journey. I think I said this before on the podcast, but either you take care of your body on the front end by putting in the work in the gym and living the fitness lifestyle and producing a diet that'll, again, produce longevity, or on the back end when you have to go to the hospital and pay those bills and take that medicine. And I've dabbled a little bit, as you just heard, I've dabbled a little bit on both sides, and you don't want to be on the back end. It's not fun. Flare-ups aren't fun. There are days where literally I'm calling into work because my stomach hurts too bad to get out of bed. That's not where you want to be at. You know what I mean? And I'm 28 years old. So that just goes to show you know what I mean? Age ain't got nothing to do with it. Take care of your body. Okay?
Yeah. And the words of Patrice Washington, a lot of you are working to pay for prescriptions you won't even be able to pronounce in your older age. The ignorance to think you're going to be able to spend your wealth and you're not taking care of your health. I mean, they say health is wealth, but yeah. I mean,
I would even say, well, yeah. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Steve Jobs died at 56. And he had a lot of money.
Exactly.
And Steve Jobs, he could even take from his 401k or Roth IRA without a penalty because he wasn't 59 and a half yet. And he, to Steve Jobs.
Saying all that to say, if you make a lot of money, you got to be alive to spend it, right?
Yeah.
So you take care of your body, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I started my fitness journey. Not to harp on the story too much, but those things play into why I take it so seriously and prioritize working out now. Because it's either that or get back on medicine, and I'm not getting back on medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've come a long way from that, and the progress is amazing. I feel good. My energy's up. You know what I mean? I feel like most people will learn to love the process, but also fall in love with the results as they continue to hit their fitness goals. So you definitely want to keep pushing and start if you haven't started, guys. Start somewhere. Okay.
Yes. Please start. We have episode 8 has a lot of stuff about you not wanting to start. So we're not gonna. Just listen to the one right before this.
Right. Hit back on the podcast and you'll be there. All right. Hit it twice.
I guess I'll just go real quick. My fitness journey, I was always working out on and off, but then Jordan started a business. To keep it again, I used to when I work. I don't work in DC now because of the pandemic, but
Right.
I was working in DC 2017 to 2019. My actual job, they had a gym there, so I was using the gym at my job. Then I got another job and I didn't have a gym, so I started working out. I was doing like home-based stuff. Now, obviously not what we're doing in FinallyFit, but just doing basic things. But then, like I said, Jordan and his wife started a business, give them money, and then that's why I'm still doing it now. But like we said before, once you get in shape, stay in shape. Like again, if you guys have teenagers and they're athletes, tell them to continue to work out. They don't have to obviously work out to keep the same conditioning as whatever sport they're playing. But keep exercising multiple times a week. Whatever they do, because look. You think, oh man, I'm in my 20s, I'll get back in shape later. No, it takes way longer. We're not even 30 yet. It takes way longer, way longer. Recovery time is worse. Your bones and ligaments start hurting more. It's crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy.
And what people don't account for is that third die that we always talking about. So we're always talking about you're rolling dice, right? You have 2 dice. Yeah, 2 dice that you control. The third one is the die of lice, right? And the die of
lice.
Yep,
the die of lice. That's what
the die of life, guys. All right, and you can't control what happens, right? So you tell yourself you're gonna get back in shape, but time, life happens, right? Some of you guys don't get the opportunity to get back in shape. Not to mention, it's hard to get back. It's a process. So that being said, take care of your bodies, stay in shape for as long as you can, and live your best life.
Yeah, and also when it comes to budgeting your time, you gotta budget the time to work out. And when you're younger, you have more time on your hands, so you can put that workout schedule already into it.
Exactly.
And also too, you can work in the gym. I mean, I don't know. I think everything's back open. I don't know because I don't know every state. I think you can go to the gym now again, but when you're younger, hopefully you should have less expenses, and you can work in a gym membership into your budget if you want to do that. I'm lying. You need to go to FinallyFit.live and sign up for a membership. Please. I completely lied about the gym thing. Don't get a gym membership. I don't even know why I said that. FinallyFit.live. Sign up there.
We just want you to be healthy. But
right.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is you can work out literally anywhere. Like I feel, I try not to tie fitness to a gym, right? Like I mean, yes, there's equipment and there's things that allow you to hyper focus on specific muscle groups as you're working out. But you can literally do a body weight workout in your home living room and burn just as many calories as if you would have went to the gym and used everything in there. You just gotta know what you're doing. Again, shout out to the Fit Fam. FinallyFit.live, give us money. Anyways.
Yes. No, you can't say that. It sounds bad.
Oh, does
I
it?
can say it, yeah.
My bad, I'm sorry. Erase that last part. But yeah, I think that so those are the main, you go with your fitness journey?
No, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm working, again, like I said, my man started a business, so it's called support.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, sideline Cory, I was always in shape. Then I stopped playing sports, and then I stopped working out because I didn't have reason to work out anymore. Like, you don't realize when you're in high school that the gym is free, especially when you're playing sports. But like I hope to, but I'll probably never work out again as much as I did in high school. I just won't have that much gym and weight room access for free on demand. Well, it wasn't on demand, obviously in school hours, but field work, all that type of stuff in high school. Yeah, I mean that was, and also that time. I mean, now I cannot afford to work out for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day.
Right. And we'll say this for another podcast episode. But one thing that I did learn is when you're an athlete, right, life doesn't teach you how to maintain the fitness level that you need as a non-athletic adult. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like in your head, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna take what I did in high school and college and do that forever. Wrong answer. It's a completely different level of fitness. Your time constraints change. You know what I mean? Your energy levels change. You're doing a lot more outside of what you did in high school and what you did in college, right? Like in college, I had 5 hours to, I can go to the gym for 2.5 hours.
Well, you had to.
I mean, if I wanted to play, you know what I mean? But
it was in your schedule.
Exactly.
I've seen them. They put them in their schedules.
But that, 5 a.m. wake up, you had to be on the field, you running sprints, you go to the weight room, you know what I mean? I diet, whatever. I had the time for that if I wanted to, play the sport. I don't want to say I don't have the time now, but
Not like you don't have 5 hours.
Exactly.
You don't have 5 hours to work out.
My obligations have changed, right? And there's some things that I can't afford to drop. So, you have to balance that with your, your new life obligations with your ability to stay in shape.
Right.
So,
and FinallyFit will get you in shape in under an hour.
Hey.
There you go. And then just also like, just being in shape as an athlete, you hear that not a lot, but if you listen how long it takes to like recover from an ACL as an athlete versus, unfortunately, if you tear your, ACL just as a regular person, significantly different recovery time. When now the athletes come back in like 6 months. I mean, Odell just came back in 6 months and he blew out his whole knee.
Yeah.
So the technology is crazy now, obviously, but yeah, definitely different recovery times if you're an athlete, or not recovery times, but the shape you're going to be in versus, what you're going to maintain, for the rest of your life to stay healthy.
Yeah. And then you also just made a comparison to Odell. I mean, Odell also has millions of dollars and people who are dedicated to these things. Right? You're talking about, if you and I tear our ACL.
That's what I'm saying. The recovery time is different. I'm talking about the money. That's
the resources are different. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
That's one reason I stopped playing adult rec sports. I sprained my thumb and went to patient first. It was only $40 for the copay. I said, I can't afford to get hurt. I said, no. I was like, this is stupid. But I'm already, as a adult rec, you got to pay to play.
Right. And
then on top of that, you don't realize as a child, your parents pay for all your medical bills. Nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm very good.
Take care of your bodies.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So you get on that for your fitness journey?
Good to go.
All right. Next question. The OPT model. So can you obviously define, what OPT stands for and just go more in depth? Because you mentioned that on an early episode, just in general what it was, but let's get more in depth into what the OPT model is.
Gotcha. So the OPT model is the Optimum Performance Training Model. And I believe this is general knowledge across all certifying organizations. However, I'm not sure if they necessarily call it the OPT model.
Okay.
So there may be a model in similar structure, as we talk about it, I'll explain, but there may be a model in similar structure across, again, different certifying organizations, and maybe name something different, but ultimately they outline the same steps. So the OPT model is the Optimum Performance Training Model produced by NASM, which is the National Association of Sports Medicine. And basically what it does is it highlights a client's ability to set their goal and accomplish it by pushing them through 3 different stages and 5 different phases. So the stages are stabilization, strength, and power. And then each stage has one or many phases that they have to go through in order to reach the next stage. So stage 1 is stabilization. In the first phase in stabilization, the only phase in stabilization is stabilization endurance, right? So what stabilization is basically your stabilization muscles in your body. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but there are 4 different types of muscles.
That's what the question is for.
Gotcha. So there are 4 different types or categories that muscles fall into. There are agonists, antagonists, synergists, and I'm missing one. Oh no, this is bad. Agonist, antagonist, synergist. I know the 4th one.
I don't know it at all.
It'll come back to me. But,
okay, good.
But anyways, the agonists are the muscles that are executing the prime motion. And again, so a muscle can fall into one category depending on a motion that it's executing, but then change to another category depending on another motion that it's executing, right?
Okay.
So a muscle could technically be in agonist category, but then move in a different direction and then become an antagonist. Does that make sense? So it depends on the motion being executed. But there's agonist, antagonist, synergist, and still can't remember that 4th one, but it'll come to me.
Yeah.
But lost my train of thought. But
Agonist.
the synergist category is the one that you're trying to work on, because your synergist muscles during the motion execution are your stabilization muscles, right? So bringing it back to the OPT model, you want to work your synergist muscles and work on muscle endurance as well as joint flexibility during motions, right? So that's what the stabilization stage is for. So you're identifying those muscles by observing a client's pattern of motion, and then you're either making corrections to it to make sure that they are in good form, and then you're working on the endurance for that form. Does that make sense? So what happens is the client assessment occurs. Based off of that assessment, we basically determine whether you are executing a motion properly or not. We make the corrections over time, and then we start giving you workouts to work on the endurance to be able to hold those stability exercises.
Okay.
Some of the stabilization endurance techniques include putting your body in a proprioceptive rich environment. So with that, I got
run it back.
I got
slow it down. Spell it out.
Putting your body in a proprioceptive rich and make sure I'm saying it. Proprioceptive. Proprioceptive.
Jordan got a test in a couple of days. This man's locked in.
And what that means is it basically putting your body in a environment in which it's unstable but controllable to work on your stabilization techniques. So I know you've used, not necessarily in FinallyFit, but in the gym you've used a stability ball before, right? Like a yoga ball. That is a proprioceptive enriched environment. So you might do a bench press, right? When you get on a bench press, you normally use a bench. You either use a barbell or you use 2 dumbbells, right? I might have you execute that motion to work on your prime mover muscles. That's the second phase. But in order to work on your stabilization endurance, I'll swap out the bench with a yoga ball. So now you have to stabilize your body while executing that same motion. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
So now I'm putting you in an uncontrollable environment. Yeah. That's the key word. It's got to be controllable, right?
So he went from the bench press, doing it on a bench and pressing up, to removing the bench itself and then doing that same thing, but instead of a bench, you have a yoga ball.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what that does is it forces you to use your legs as well as your core to stabilize yourself, as well as execute that prime mover motion to.
Yeah, it makes it a more full body exercise.
Exactly.
Right. You don't have the earth technically because the bench is on the ground, but it's supporting you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So another example is if you're doing a squat, right? So a traditional squat, both feet on the ground, got the barbell on your back. I'm talking about back squat. Traditional squat, you got the barbell on your back. You go down. You stabilize at the bottom. You come back up, right? The stabilization endurance technique for that would be a single leg pistol squat. So not necessarily, you might not have any weight on your back, just body weight. You're gonna have one leg up, you're gonna slowly drop down, control that leg, and what that does is you have to balance your body weight while still executing the same proper form for a squat, and then come back up.
Right.
So again, unstable environment, but working on those synergist muscles while executing. Said all that to say, that's the first phase in the first stage.
First stage. Okay, we just got started.
Gotcha. So I'll try to roll through these next ones.
No, you gotta take time.
So the second stage is strength. Strength has 3 phases. So the first phase is strength endurance. The second phase within the strength level is the third phase overall is hypertrophy, right? And hypertrophy is basically a muscular build. So I don't want to skip before I explain the other two. And then the last one is maximum strength. So strength is the level, 3 phases in strength, strength endurance, hypertrophy, maximum strength. Cool?
Right.
Got it. Okay. So first phase in strength.
Y'all can rewind it back.
You can. You can always Google this, all right? The OPM model is on Google, all right? OPT model, I'm sorry, is on Google. So strength endurance is basically capitalizing on stabilization endurance while also engaging your prime mover muscles. So again, what I was just telling you about, by improving your bench press, you're going to start off by working on that stabilization endurance, but then you're going to improve on your actual bench press on the bench by working on your strength endurance. And by the way, I didn't mention this before, but for each phase, there are an intended number of sets, reps, intensity, tempo, as well as rest for each phase, right?
Okay.
So you have to, again, execute that per phase to make sure that you're
getting
yeah. So Again, I'm not gonna be the dead horse.
Right. Yeah, look,
there's a lot. Yes, I do have a test coming up, guys. So of course, like, yeah, you know,
Jordan's entire brain is just knee deep in this.
Literally, I'm running through it right now. But so yeah, for your strength endurance, you want to make sure that you're activating those prime mover muscles while also working on your stabilization endurance. I think I'm gonna try to run through it real quick. Your strength endurance has 8 to 12 reps. It's at a 70 to 80% intensity. It's a 202 tempo as well as 60-second rest interval. So I know I just said a lot of information, but what that means is you want to make sure you put these reps in the necessary. The sets are 2 to 4. You want to do 2 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps of whatever exercise you're doing at a 70 to 80% intensity with 60 seconds of rest in between. So yeah.
So that 70 80% intensity, that's of your max. Is that what that means?
Yes. Yeah,
right.
okay.
So let's say your max is 100 pounds that you can bench press. 70% intensity would be 70 pounds you'd be benching.
Correct.
For 8 reps, and that's 1 set.
Correct. That you would then take 60 seconds and then go into the next.
I took weight training 4 times in high school. So this is what we have to do on our paper.
Right. Clearly, yes. So record all this, right? If you want to get into it.
Because I had to make sure, I'm like, I hope that's weight. Because if it's not weight, I don't know what that 70%. I'm like, how do you know if you're giving 70% effort?
Right.
Yes, that 78% is based off of your max.
Exactly. And then strength endurance also incorporates supersets. So which you'll actually do 1 exercise from the stabilization endurance and then do 1 exercise from what would be considered strength endurance exercises.
Okay.
So I didn't go through the sets, reps, intensity, and tempo and rest interval for stabilization endurance, but you would do 1 from that category as well as 1 from strength endurance throughout your workout. Okay. So that's phase 2. Phase 3 is hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is basically focuses on the bodybuilding type of build. So muscle growth, right? You literally just work on making your muscles bigger. That consists of, let me see if I get this right, sets and reps, 3 to 5 sets with 6 to 12 reps at a 75 to 85% intensity.
This is all coming back from weight training in high school. I didn't know this was the thing, but
yeah,
the papers are showing back up in my head.
Right. Yeah. So you want to make sure you at a 202 tempo pace, and I believe this one is also 60 seconds of rest in between. So you want to make sure that you are getting those reps in. But the main focus of hypertrophy again is muscle growth, right? So you're doing this in order to make your muscles big. I also forgot to mention that steps that are mandatory versus steps that are optional. So stabilization endurance. So stabilization and stabilization endurance, phase 1 and stage 1 are mandatory. Stage 2 and phase 2, so strength and strength endurance are mandatory. Now, when you get to phase 2 of strength, you get the option of picking the hypertrophy path or picking the maximum strength path. So you can basically be a bodybuilder, or you can do maximum strength, which means you are now working on your rate of force production, which is how fast you can move a certain amount of weight. Basically, how much strength you can exert over a small period of time.
Yeah, explosiveness.
Exactly. But I know I've had people ask, like, can you do both? So technically, a bodybuilder can have a high rate of force production, but not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can exert maximum strength without having necessarily, large muscles. But people who have large muscles usually exert, a high rate of force production. So somebody who's specializing in hypertrophy will more than likely have a high maximum strength as well as power. Somebody who focuses on maximum strength doesn't necessarily have to have enlarged muscles, but can still be strong as well as have power. So that's the fork in the road. If you pick the left one, you usually automatically hit the right one as well. If you pick the right one, you usually just go forward with that path, not necessarily focusing on muscle growth, but still being strong. The maximum strength phase, I'm not running through the steps and reps for that, but you want to work on, again, rate of force production. You want to make those muscles as strong as possible. And again, they're like Lego blocks, so you have to do the phase before in order to proceed to the next phase. You don't just come in and be like, all right, I want to be strong. Well, let's start at phase 4, of strength, so we can get you to maximum strength. Nah, if you don't have stabilization endurance, you don't have strength endurance, you're not going to make it to maximum strength. So you have to do the steps before.
Yes, build the foundation.
Please.
Logic.
You don't just start with the top of the house. You don't put a roof on a house. You gotta have the ground floor.
Logic. It's like, no,
And then last but not least is the power stage. So that's the final stage as well as the final phase. This one they didn't get as creative because the stage is called power and the final phase is also called
it's
power.
the last one, so they said screw it.
Exactly.
You know.
Get strong. And this one also consists of supersets. So you would have a rep of a strength endurance exercise as well as a rep or a set of an exercise from the power group. So again, superset, 2 exercises, one from strength endurance, one from power. I think it's 1 to 5 reps because again, now we're at our highest intensity.
Right.
So your reps significantly decrease. So 1 to 5 reps for, I believe it's 2 to 5 sets. And I don't remember the tempo as well as, I think the rest interval in between exercises for the superset is 1 to 2 minutes, and then it's 3 to 5 minutes in between each round. So remember, you'll have multiple supersets per round, and then once you finish your round, you take your 3 to 5 minute rest, and then you go into the next round. But yeah, that is the OPT model.
That's the OPT model.
Yeah.
I don't have any follow-ups. That's the first time I heard any of that information. So,
well, as you can see, I've been diving a little deep trying to make sure that I got it under control.
So I guess I do have a follow-up. How do you, like, in layman's terms, how does that incorporate into you exercising? That's just like how you progress through your fitness journey?
That's how you should progress through your fitness journey. So a lot of people just kind of jump into it and they just say, hey, I either want to lose weight or I want to gain muscle or both. And then they just start working out. Technically, you should work on. So most people who are working out for the first time have not used their muscles in an extreme amount of time, haven't used all their muscles in a long period of time, right? So working on your stabilization endurance is key because you need that to use to move on to the next level of the OPT model, right? So you really should be working on flexibility, joint stabilization, and the endurance to hold those exercises or motions before you start just jumping into jumping on the bench, right? So if you can't, again, I tell you guys this in the Fit Fam all the time, if you can't execute a full range of motion when doing exercise, you're really only getting maybe half or a fourth of a rep, right? So now you have to do 4 times the work to get the same amount of effort that you would have gotten if you would have completed the full range of motion while executing the exercise.
Right, and that's where that first phase and stage for the stability and flexibility comes into play.
Exactly.
You can actually, right.
That's the key building block. I feel like a lot of people skip that and they just jump right on the bench. And a lot of times you end up hurting yourself, to be completely honest. You need that flexibility. You need that joint stability. Yeah, I mean, look, soundboard, insert here.
I don't know which one for that. I guess you shouldn't have been talking. That's what I think of.
We'll work it out.
This is not your part of the show for people who don't stretch. This is not your part of the show.
Exactly. So yeah, you basically you want to apply it to your workout structure and when you're starting your fitness journey because it'll help you progress quickly, more efficiently, and usually in a safer manner. If you just jump into step 3, jump into step 4, I mean, it's possible, but you probably won't get the best return on investment that you would have gotten. Look, that you would have gotten if you would have followed the steps in order.
Yep, that compound interest. Okay, yeah, because you can work out, you can get in shape, quote unquote, using the wrong form.
You can.
Yes.
Yeah, there's actually a thing called muscle imbalances where people execute exercises all the time and they don't do it to form how they're supposed to. But you'll still get strong. You might work out the wrong group of muscles when doing it, but Yeah.
And then you get 40, 50, and you're like, oh, you've been squatting wrong for how long?
Exactly.
Oh Lord, talk about scoliosis. Let me stop. No disrespect to people who actually have that.
Yes.
So my disclaimer that, as you can see, I really don't care how you feel about it. All right, so you good with the OPT model?
I'm good with the OPT model. I know that was a lot, guys. Rewind that back, listen to it.
Look, that's probably the most. I mean, that's talking about the investing in generational wealth. That was that for fitness. Cause talking about you should have wrote that down. Look, because I was like, goodness gracious.
Look, I hope somebody goes and Googles that after this episode. All right, yes, it's good stuff.
OPT model. All right, you good on that?
I believe so.
All right, third and final question. By the way, finance question. I don't know how long we're gonna go, but if this joint's over 2.5 hours, I don't know what y'all want us to say.
Look, be an adult, pause it.
It's gonna be deep on that.
Finance is gonna be lit.
All right, so for the last fitness question, see, I should have put this on second. So much for us working on the questions and ordering them properly. So you're talking about your fitness journey, right? And you get on a better diet. On some earlier episodes, you were talking about some tricks you can use to help reduce how many carbs you're eating when you're going out to eat.
Right.
So can you go just more in depth on ways to manage your food intake or your calorie intake when you're going out to eat?
Okay. There are several caloric management techniques. You specifically want just for going out to eat?
No, you can go more in depth.
Okay. So some caloric management techniques. So one of my personal favorites is intermittent fasting. I don't know if I talked about this before, but intermittent fasting basically specifies you consume calories at a specified period throughout the day. So the day is broken down into a 24-hour period. Of that period, you may fast anywhere from usually from 12 to, I mean, I've seen people do multiple day fasts. I don't recommend that.
Like Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had a friend who fasted for almost 72 hours. I was like, man, that's a lot. I mean, I don't recommend that. But I mean, if you can pull it off and still function properly, I mean, go for it. But from a health standpoint, you want to do something. We're creating sustainable, healthy lifestyle habits, right? Intermittent fasting is not something you want to do and then go back to your previous lifestyle, because then the benefit is null and void, right? You want to be able to implement it on a daily basis. When I was intermittent fasting at the beginning of my fitness journey to create that caloric deficit, I was fasting. I started at 12 hours a day, and then I slowly worked myself up to 16 hours a day with an 8-hour active eating period. So what that does is it forces your body to only be able to take in calories from a specified time. So I would stop eating at 8 p.m., start eating again at lunchtime, and then anything from lunch to 8 p.m. that night, I was good to go.
Good to go is whatever you quote unquote want to eat.
Yes, not necessarily whatever. So again, depends on how fast you would like to hit your goal, right? Mm-hmm. So again, you want to create sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And this was in my fitness journey before I was at the point. Yeah, I was at the point where now I know what a sustainable weight loss is, right? So again, it should be 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week, which is a pound is 3,500 calories. So that's 7,000 calories total on a 7-day basis. You can make that happen between diet as well as working out. So you're either going to burn more calories or eat less calories, or a combination of both. Because I was trying to hit my goal, I was doing both. So I was trying to burn more calories as well as eat less calories at the same time. Now, the problem where that goes wrong, again, it's not sustainable, right? That's like trying to go longer distances in your car with half the gas that you were using to get there. Does that make sense? So, I mean, good luck with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, eventually your car, what's going to happen? It's
twice the mileage with half the gas.
Exactly. It's going to be on the side of the road, right? It's going to blow something.
Your car's going to tell you can't even go that far.
Exactly. Literally, like going to pop on, halfway there.
Yeah.
So, again, knowing what I know now, you want to do your best to manage your intermittent fasting period so it actually balances out, right? So 16 hours on, I highly recommend 16 hours, on your fast period, 8 hours off. When I say off, I mean 8 hours available to eat. When you do eat, the key to really making intermittent fasting working is to not gorge yourself on your off period, right? So you don't want to fast for 16 hours a day, then get in your off period where you're actually able to eat, and then eat 2,000 calories for your day. If your day is based off a 2,000 calorie diet and you consume it all in one meal, you defeated the purpose of fasting for the day. You see what I'm saying? Right. So you want to make sure that you lock in, but at the same time, you come off that you're fast, you still have a salad, or even if you don't necessarily want a salad, you can have a chicken sandwich with the fries, but again, account for the calories and just make sure that you either burn more when you implement your workout, because again, we're just talking about the fasting portion. We haven't included the calories that you burn when you actually do the workout. Does that make sense? So if I'm creating a caloric deficit in my diet, and then on top of that I'm running, or I'm doing some type of HIIT, or just implementing some type of workout or exercise on a daily basis that's also adding to the amount of calories burned for the day, then you're good, right? You know what I'm saying? It'll actually cause you to burn calories faster than if you were just doing the intermittent fasting. So that being said, sustainable lifestyle habit, use intermittent fasting, but you want to make sure that you're using it responsibly. Don't deplete your body of what it needs so you can't function, okay? Macros, protein, fats, carbs, you need all of those to make sure that you're good to go. Another caloric management technique, specifically for eating out, read the read, y'all. Read the menu.
As Cory said he couldn't read earlier.
A lot of these restaurant menus are now, I think, required to put the caloric facts as well as the ingredients on the menu. So you can, I don't know if all restaurants put the ingredients, but I know a lot of them have started, putting the ingredients on the menu. If not, you can definitely, when the waiter comes up, you can request the ingredients and they actually have to go give it to you. They have to go ask somebody in the back if they don't know, and they have to give it to you.
Sue them.
I know.
Don't sue them. They didn't know.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. they're just a waiter or waitress.
But that being said, I know people are like, oh, I don't want to cause a hard time. Look, this is your body. Again, you only get one. Don't ask if you don't want to. I'm going to ask. Okay, I'll be that person. Either that or listed on your menu, so I don't have to ask. I mean, I'll be that guy. But that being said, read the the caloric intake, read the macro breakdown on the food if all that is listed. But find something that fits within your range. So again, you can actually combine reading with with intermittent fasting to produce the best outcome when you go out to restaurants to eat, right? So if I fast for a 16-hour period, then we eat for lunch. Corey's like, hey Jordan, let's go to Olive Garden so we can, get some food. All right, cool. I'm going to Olive Garden. Now Olive Garden is an Italian restaurant, so you're probably going to eat some type of pasta. That's what they serve on the menu. However, they do have sections on the menu that have healthier options. Most restaurants nowadays have a specific part of the menu they usually call like a health section, or like a light caloric value type of option. Either that, or the regular menu will have some type of special emblem next to it that indicates that this is light in caloric value. You see what I'm saying? So that usually indicates that it's some type of fish, or like grilled fish or grilled chicken, or something that just doesn't have too much fat or a high amount of carbs in it. And it's not that you don't want any of those things, you just want them in a reduced portion size. So that being said, combine the reading aspect with intermittent fasting, and that'll allow you to select something that's on the menu that you can have that'll fit into your allotted diet. Not last caloric management technique, but one that I personally enjoy implementing is when you get your serving size from the restaurant, get a to-go container immediately as soon as your plate hits the table, and just put half of it in the to-go container and take it with you, right? I've already taken whatever calorically you've given me as soon as it hits the table, put half of it away for later or another day, or even if you don't want it at all, you can feel free to give it to somebody else because you haven't touched your plate yet, right? So you just got a whole meal that you could then either bless somebody outside who, may not be able to afford food with, or, give it away to a family member who hasn't eaten today, right? But you're taking your caloric estimate for the meal and literally cut it in half off the jump, right? So if you had, let's say you got a pasta and it's 1,200 calories, if you put half of it into go box, guess what? 600 calorie pasta. And then what that does for your mental is it actually allows you to enjoy what's left on your plate and put your mind at ease, right? What you don't want to do is be trying to calculate calories while eating. You still want to be able to enjoy life, have a good time, but just be more mindful of the decisions that you're making. So that's one of my personal favorites, because what it allows you to do is you put your mind at rest for the duration of the meal. I know I had 600 calories worth of pasta because, or estimated 600 calories worth of pasta if it came at 12, because I already gave half of it away. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of the entree. Sides, bread. Bread is a big one, right? When you go to a restaurant, most restaurants give you what? Free bread, free carbs. Be mindful of how many pieces of bread that you have with your meal. It doesn't matter if you get the Caesar salad, if you have 10 breadsticks with it, and a breadstick is, 150 calories per serving size, and you just had 10 of them. You should have just got the steak with the potatoes and, you know what I mean? Like, should have just got the loaded entree that you wanted.
Go hard or go home.
Exactly. But just be mindful of your caloric intake all the way around. If you kind of start ingraining these into your brain one meal at a time, you'll kind of quickly realize that it's not hard to do. Another thing, just be mindful of desserts. I feel like a lot of desserts and appetizers in general. I feel like a lot of people feel like to have a complete meal, as I just told you when we were eating cheesecake constantly, we had appetizers and desserts. And again, if you plan for that, that's okay. Not recommended all the time, but you can have that, right? But if I'm on my fitness journey and I'm mindful of my caloric intake, maybe you want to have an appetizer and an entree. Maybe you want to have an entree and a dessert, depending on the impact that you want to have on your caloric deficit. Maybe you want to have just an entree. So these are things, again, to keep in mind when you're ordering, right? If I'm really being mindful about how my journey's going, I'll probably just have the entree and leave the appetizer there. And what that does is it makes you also more wealth conscious, because I'm saving you money because you did not order an appetizer and you didn't order a dessert.
Discipline.
Exactly. I guarantee you I just saved you $10 and at least 1,200 calories right there.
Yeah, let's be very, very clear. You're not going out to eat if you need to get out of debt.
Exactly.
We almost there, but yeah. We'll save that for the next budget episode. I remember to go over eating out. You're not supposed to be. You're grown. However, eating out is the first thing that usually puts a whole bunch of money back into your budget.
Yeah.
So this would be so you can invest and have it. Well, this is your lifestyle actually, so this would be okay to do here. But yeah, you got a whole bunch of debt and you're struggling paycheck. If you're again, your grocery bill is first,
Right.
So if you're, it's hard for me to say this. Why I get frustrated because it's so simple. If you for whatever reason are struggling to put food on the table in your home, why are you going out to eat? Just spend that eating out money on more food at your house.
And then get what you want.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? We'll balance it out.
Let me balance this energy because it's about to get turned.
It is. So I'm gonna cover this last caloric management technique,
and
then we're gonna slide into the finance section. Y'all, we got a lot to talk about for
So I'm about to
finance.
say,
It's
we
about
already
to
an
get
hour
so
in.
crazy.
I'm like, this joint might be 3 hours. I don't know what it's going to be. Y'all know before us, technically, but oh my goodness. I'm
So,
like, whew.
Last tip, when eating out, a lot of you guys, and I say a lot of people drink their calories, okay?
As an alcohol drink.
Alcohol drink, not even just
Oh,
alcohol.
even soda too?
Just in general.
Yeah, I don't drink soda anymore, actually, so.
The only drink that is 0 calories is
Is
water.
water.
Okay, let me say that one more time. The only drink that is 0 calories, 0 in caloric value, is water. Okay, so if you're getting lemonade, strawberry, whether it's any type of variation, if you're getting soda, if you're getting, and then especially if you're getting alcohol, okay, you can just go ahead and ×2 for the soda for the alcohol. You know what I mean?
Hey, beer belly for a reason.
Listen, okay? If you are drinking your calories, stop that immediately, okay? Either just cut it out altogether or plan for it, right? If some days, if I do want to, let's say I'm going to a happy hour, right? So, you go with the happy hour because there's half price drinks, usually, or some type of half price app or some kind of a combination of that, right? You go with the intent to drink, that's fine. All I might do is drink, if that makes, you know what I mean? So I might go there.
To compensate.
Exactly.
Right.
Balance out my calories. If I know I'm getting a Long Island is anywhere, depending on who makes it and what size it is, it can be anywhere from 300 to 600 calories per Long Island. It's got a lot of alcohol in it. It's got a lot of
them joints back.
Exactly. A lot of additives in it. But if that, if that's my intent, I'm going just to drink. You know what I mean? Or you can balance it out. I might have a drink and then get my appetizer, right? You know what I mean? So instead of having 3 Long Islands, now I'm having 1 Long Island and then some boneless wings or something like that. But again, just be mindful of the overall caloric intake, and if you're drinking your calories, cut that down. All right. Those are some caloric management techniques brought to you by CNFE.
All right. Anything else for how to manage your carbs and your calories when you're eating?
I'm gonna stop there because I'll probably start thinking of a whole bunch of stuff, and then we'll talk for another 20 minutes. That's good right there.
Okay.
If y'all got any more questions about caloric management, ask us and we'll talk about it again.
Okay.
But that's good for this episode.
I'll keep that then, and then so we can go back on another episode.
Gotcha.
All right. I'm gonna drink my water. Cause yeah,
This is about to. Woo! That's the CNFE equivalent of sips tea, cause these finance questions.
All right, Ben, are you ready? Look, again, y'all, we don't know how long this is going to go. Again, I mean, obviously we know before y'all because we're here. But again, if you listen for an hour, we are sorry if this goes longer than an hour. But these are the questions we got, and these questions are intense. Again, disclaimer, we did not make up these questions. These are via our listeners, fans on the internet. So do not come at us. However, if 2-3 years from now, y'all come back and try to cancel this episode, I don't care.
I don't either.
We don't care.
Just, yeah.
You guys can't cancel the stock market. That's what money gonna be anyway. So,
I'm gonna just put the period on the explanation. But we said what we said when we said it.
Hey, look,
okay.
Y'all find a way to take down the United States. Well, actually, people be trying to do that. But you know what I mean. Y'all try and find a way to crash the economy. Then come talk to me. But for now,
I ain't worried about it.
To the moon. Anyways, all right.
You good?
Man, look.
You ready?
We normally say we don't prep for questions. Well, let's be very clear.
We had to prep.
Had to prep this time. All right. That's the second question. Do you want to try to play the TikTok on here?
Nah.
You don't want to try to do it?
I don't think it'll.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have a TikTok, do you?
Nah, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all good. I'll try to remember what she said. It's all good. It's the first question, yeah.
Okay, so the first question. All right, so again, for our we appreciate you guys dropping questions. Okay. We had to remove the expletives, all right? Because
we don't have to.
We don't.
I mean, we don't have to, but we are choosing to for the long game to show that we're.
Y'all saw my expression when he said we don't have to, right? I mean, you too. Look, because I'll say some stuff. Anyways, we try to be appropriate.
Yeah, we want to
for all ages and listeners.
Yeah, put it not for children, but it's I have it set.
Tracking.
It's just so we're good.
Exactly. So specifically, someone asked a question that says how to spot a broke person, but they used another word for person.
They use the N-word.
Okay, they use the N-word.
This is a black person, let me be clear, because you know it's 2021.
Exactly.
Oh my God, who said that?
But I think it was.
Then Jordan said LOL.
I did. I put LOL.
All right, so here's Jordan's version of this question. So it's how to spot a broke dude. Then Jordan's version of this is,
how do you identify if someone you are dating / talking to does not have the same finance mindset as you? Y'all like that cleanup? That was smooth, wasn't it? Anyways, so yeah, Corey, how do you want me to repeat it one more time?
Nah, you know I can read it. I'm just, again, I didn't prep for this question. I just got here. Whoo, child. All right, by the way, all these questions, it just so happens, shout out to the Synergy, these questions sort of all go together. So they're going to stack. We didn't prepare the fitness ones, but we prepared the finance ones to sort of progress through each other. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me say this. How do you spot a broke dude? I wish Jordan got this question. I didn't, so I didn't get to follow up with it. But as I've said before, we don't have any stats now, but we are going to start asking people when they come on here, our guests, what is the definition of a broke dude? Ladies, I need an exact dollar amount. I need a yearly pre-tax number, or how much money they need to make post-tax. You can't just say you got to make as much as I make. I need an exact dollar amount. But how? Oh my goodness. Remember I kept telling you about the dollar amount I said I was going to piss off married dudes?
Yeah.
This is that question. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'll drop it now.
Okay.
By the way, this doesn't mean you're a broke dude, but I'll give that. Remember, I never said it. So I'll insert this here now. Now let me say this. People need this is going to transition to the second question. Y'all need to start defining, this isn't how you spot a broke dude. Either you're out here trying to marry somebody or you're not. Okay? And in short, if you're not out here trying to marry somebody, who cares? Y'all just do what y'all do and y'all just act crazy if you want to. But for women who are looking to get, Jordan's like, oh my God. For women who are looking to get married, how do you spot a broke dude? One, it depends on how early you're meeting the man. Obviously, if it's high school, college sweetheart, y'all don't got no money anyway, and you have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to quote unquote grind through the early years as you guys are both working to increase your income. However, back to my statistic that I made of myself, not statistic, it's a range.
Okay.
For me, your brain finishes developing completely at roughly 25 years old. That's your frontal lobe. So I believe that is. So your brain doesn't really finish developing till you're 25. So ladies, if you're with a guy between the ages of 18 and 24, you're out here taking a risk. You better hope you pick a good one. Okay?
I'm still trying to figure it out. All
right. But once you hit 25, and for me, the range is 25 to 30. I know people hate using the number 30, but 30 is the number for me as well. Because if you're over 30 years old, I don't know how much more time you want because you are approaching middle age. So, do you get to mess up all your 30s too? Because then you'll be 40.
And right? You're halfway there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So this isn't exactly how you spot a broke dude. The easy way to spot a broke dude is, now see social media, people be scamming so much. That's the issue. What do we mean by broke? Do you mean he got short money or long money? Because nowadays, a lot of women is dating scammers, so they got money, but they got short-term money. Like, they got illegal money. So he's not broke, but he is technically broke because that,
So can we cover the short-term money people and then the no money people?
The short-term money people. And
because I'm assuming if you got long-term money, you're not broke, right?
He's investing. He has a consistent 9 to 5. He has benefits,
right.
Medical, dental, vision. He could still be living at home, so I can cover myself. But he could be working to get out of debt. That's what I'm talking about. If you're looking for marriage, it's not that he might not be broke or frugal or cheap. It's wealth conscious. At the end of the day. All these questions are the same question. Where's this infamous table at, right? What are you bringing to the table? But at the end of the day, if he is working on his financial journey, which we promote on here, I have no issue. You can have all the debt in the world. But you're saying, boom, Corey Jordan, I'm trying to change. Boom, you're not a broke dude no more to us. Financially, quote unquote, your situation would be, but you changed the mindset and broke. Wait, which one's poor is actually the mindset. But in this case, how you look for a poor person, and as far as a mindset, not a broke, you actually want to make sure you're not getting someone who has a broke or poor mindset. Right. And that would look like someone who isn't about consistently having an income, right? Not even just a steady job, but realizing that you have to make money, right, every month to live. they're not budgeting, they haven't defined how they want to handle debt and handle it that way, so they can obtain getting out of debt, but they can't maintain it, so they keep going in and out of credit card debt, or they want to stay out of, they don't realize how bad car loans are.
Yeah, we got to circle back around to that real quick. They can obtain, but they can't maintain.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I'm working on memorizing my phrase. I'm working on memorizing my phrases.
It's cool.
Hey, it's the same word, same meaning. I'm working on memorizing my. That's why I talk so fast. I need to slow down. But I'm working on memorizing my phrases. Gotcha. So yeah, most people can. People can lose weight, right? But can you maintain the weight loss? People can get out of debt, right? They can obtain it, but can you maintain it? So that's something we're gonna look for too. Then on top of that, as women say now, but what is he doing? Planning long term for his future, right? And that's why I say if you're getting 18 to 24, right? I mean, it's tell you to be true. We just out here.
We are.
He's out here.
I mean, I ain't out here no more, but
he's 28. I'll be 27 in September. I mean, I'll be 28 in September. So under 25, it's like what? So those are things you want to look for. And then, like I said, depending on, they need to be on some financial. This is men and women, but you need to be on some financial journey, have some type of financial plan. And there are many different financial plans out there. For those of you, I know a whole bunch of them, but I have my recommendations. By the way, my recommendations are the summaries of all of them.
My recommendation is Sideline Adventures.
Hey, welcome to Sideline Adventures.
Okay.
People.
Money. Okay.
Yeah, people. I got counters for all your punches. People, I didn't study the debt plans too, by the way. But no, they can have some financial plan going forward. I mean, again, he does. If his tires are flat, but he has all the Jordans. Those are things like that.
Priorities out of whack.
Yeah, if she, is, I guess, now going to brunches, always on vacation, but she got a whole bunch of student loan debt and her credit card's never paid, or she always asking you for money. That's the, look, talking about, never mind, let me stop.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So, if this person is basically consistently living a financially unstable lifestyle and comfortable with
that, and that's not what you want to live. That's easy to spot. And by the way, again, it's talking about decreasing the tabooness around finances. If you want to know how to spot a broke person, listen to us more, and I'll improve your financial literacy, and you can see it. That's the thing. Again, I'm gonna be very, very clear. I can see it via your social media page. If your page is public, I can see how well you're doing financially. I got a good 90, probably 95% rate of guessing right, because people who, again, I'm talking about mindset here, not actual bank account numbers. People who have a certain mindset move a certain way, right? So I made the comment. I think, did I make the post today? I can't remember when I made the post, but I said it was a couple of days ago. A lot of y'all are still, you've been partying since your freshman year of high school. You've been partying for 10 plus years. And you still partying with the same people, same vacation spot, same friends. And it's like, you need to make a change. And it's not obviously that you can't go out. Although, to be honest, Jordan, I meant to say this. We used to be up late night playing the video game. Shout out to the Division. We was in the danger zone deep.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, but that was when we were, right out of college. So that's, it's almost 10 years ago. We
can put some time in.
Yeah, 6-7 years ago now. And so we still do stay up late, but it's to produce content for the podcast. Jordan obviously has his trainer test coming up. Me trying to learn everything about finances, because we had decided to add crypto and calls and puts and see what people want to know when it comes to finances. So it's just so much stuff out there. So we've shifted our mindset. This doesn't mean that you can't buy the PS5, which you can't see in the screen, but you saw it in one episode. It was in the back. Or you can't take vacations and things, but you just have to start prioritizing. And I'm gonna leave it there, because when I get the Generation Wealth and Legacy, I'm gonna go right back into that. But yeah, that's how you spot a broke person from a mindset standpoint. Now let's go to the dollar amount. So because this is what this question is about. Man. They want to know the dollar amount. Now this does not mean it's a broke dude. This is actually for men. This is not men what you should do for women. This is what you do for yourself. Okay. So in short, like I said, 18 and 24, y'all doing what you're doing. Second you turn 25, man, you got to start getting on it. So from 25 to 30, I recommend, just based off the general numbers, not even like running a budget for real. I'll do that later on, where I spend $300,000 income and it's still not enough money. But man, this is what you need to be working to as a floor. Jordan's like, what? I said him the exam for him. Yeah, he was like, what? Yeah, I'm gonna spend $15,000 a month and we still gonna be skimped. But so this range is from 25 to 30, and then once you're 30, it's 30 and beyond.
Right.
So at 25 years old, man, you need to be doing everything you can. Jordan's like, what is he about to say? You need to make sure you're making at least 75% of the median household income of the state that you live in. I'm going to say that again. If you're 25 years old, men, you need to be making at least 75% of the median household income of the state you live in. And that's easy Google search. Just Google, median household income of Maryland, insert state here. That'll pop right up.
So I'm going to ask you, Corey, what is
I didn't prep for this, but I prepped for this example. Yeah.
I got you.
So
okay.
the numbers keep changing. I mean, with the pandemic 2020, those numbers haven't came out yet. So there's a lot of people doing 2019 numbers, but it's the median household income for the entire country is roughly $60,000 to $70,000. I've been saying 60 a lot because I know my multiples is 6 better than 7, but it's really, it's really like closer to 70. And then when I say Maryland, it's like a little bit closer to like 86, 90 now. But I know my multiple. I like saying 80 because the math is just easier for me. But it's in that $60,000 to $70,000 range for the United States. So 75%, let's say you use $60,000 in this case.
Okay.
75% of $60,000 is $45,000. Okay, so men, you as an individual, right? Remember, household income is however many people are working in that house. Technically, even if you live at home with your parents, that household income gets bumped up too because your address is all the same. You're filing taxes, that gets bumped up. So that's all inclusive here. But obviously, husband, wife, family too, average size family. Men, you should be working across the entire country, right? That would be $45,000. Now,
those are pre-tax dollars.
Pre-tax dollars, yeah.
Got you.
So for the United States, all the different states, and I think Puerto Rico, DC, and Guam, some other places in there. But the 50 states and plus DC, that range is from $40,000 to $80,000 for each state. So the lower states around $40,000, the Alabamas and Mississippi's, Arkansas, Louisiana's, and then you get up to $80,000. We're talking about the Marylands, the DCs, the New Jerseys. I think it's Massachusetts. Those type of states. So it's anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 of the median household income of all the states. So that's 75% at 25 years old. That's roughly anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000. And so to transition to Maryland numbers, yes, if you're listening to this, which I think everyone listening to this lives in Maryland, if you're 25 years old, you need to be making at least $60,000. And that's just straight up pre-tax. I'm not going to get into the budget when you take out taxes and you got student loan debt, you got a car loan debt, you got rent. I mean, I'm not, Maryland rent. Like I'm not even.
Just really real.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, just think about it. If you make $6,000 pre-tax, that's $5,000 a month. 5 times 12 is $60,000. That's pre-tax. And in Maryland, I don't care if you got a roommate or not. If you live in, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, not even PG County or Moco. You're not living out there. You're not living in Nova or DC. But your rent is probably $1,000, even if you have a roommate. And if you make $5,000 pre-tax, even if you use that, that's $4,000 left. We take out taxes. Remember, I said you're not investing, right? We start investing. Your debt payments, please. So I started running the budget, and it's $60K. So that's at 25 years old, right? I'm not going to go through the examples for the rest of them because it's the same math. But at 26, it'll be 80%. At 27, 85%, 28, 90%, 29, 95%, and 30 years old and plus 100%. And again, disrespectful. I don't care. You're 30 years old and you live in Maryland. You don't make $80,000. I do not know what the hell you were doing. You live in Hampstead. You live out here near Jordan. Do you know what the median household income is for Aberdeen?
I don't.
It's $50,000.
Oh, well.
Where I live at in Odenton, we're to West Odenton, and Odenton, Crofton, Gambles, those three cities pretty much all the same place.
Right.
Guess how much it is?
Double that?
$120.
Well.
So yeah, where I live at Odenton is $99,000 median household income.
Gotcha.
So and again, obviously the state of California is different from the city of Los Angeles. But it goes way, California isn't, as a state isn't
right.
up there, but obviously they have, the Bay Area, San Diego, LA, if you want to do, obviously you live in New York State, right versus most people obviously live in New York City, but New York City is actually, it doesn't have that high, but when you Google it, so you actually have this on my, when you Google the median household income, it's actually not that high for the city of New York. Because that's you got 10 million, that's probably a bunch of people in there, unfortunately, Section 8. So
right.
That narrows it down. But obviously you got pockets you can narrow down for a particular city. But like I said, I do have on my link tree, it's called the Financial Side Startup Kit. There's a link on there, or you can Google it. It's called, I think it's cost of living. You can just Google that. And there's a website that has the cost of living and everything, drill down to your particular city, and you can see the averages of how much it costs. So essentially a 100 is a 1-to-1 dollar ratio.
Gotcha.
And those places are Georgia, Texas, etc.
Right.
That's what we see, and that's where a lot of people are moving to get those houses, right?
Yeah.
Atlanta, Houston, because it's
the
a
most
lot,
bang for your buck. That
right?
makes
It's a lot
sense.
cheaper down there. However, you lose. Y'all saw it, unfortunately, y'all saw what happened in Texas, and then I remember a couple years ago when it snowed in Atlanta, like 2 inches though, and they had to like leave their cars on the highway. Like, you start trading things off, when you leave places. This doesn't mean you have to live in the higher cost of living area, but those, there's a website for that where you can compare where you live at, where you want to move, and just those dollar ranges.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's how you would. That's not a broke dude, but man, that's what you should be trying for. Again, if you're 25 years old, 75% of the median household income. 26 years old is going to be 80, 27 is 85, 28 is 90, 29 is 95, and then if you're 30, 100% plus. And that just is what it is. That just is. Those are the numbers. I wish it wasn't that way. And obviously, I'm not saying that you're struggling, but mathematically, again, if you don't believe me, I'll get free financial session, on testing your budget on this. Because if you live in Maryland, you're 30 years old, like I said, I don't know where you live. Like I said, you live in Hampstead, you live in Carroll County, you live in Frederick County, which is West Virginia. You're not living in Moco or PG.
Listen.
Well, you could be married, but be on your own.
Fellas, get your. That being said, get your money.
Get your money right.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, this is for you. I know that though. I think a woman asked this question.
She definitely did.
Yeah.
So.
This isn't. Now, let me be very, very clear. Women do not go up to men and say, oh my God, you're 30 years old. Yeah. Don't do that.
That's rude.
But that's just the
street. Do you make 60K? I mean,
well, we're about to get to that in the next question.
All right.
Maybe not really. I don't know. That's a little. Ooh. But that's what you should be working towards, man. Because again, just the financial stability of it. Like I said, most people aren't investing 15% of their pre-tax income. When you get there, now you've got 85% to live off of. So you make 100K, you technically only make 85 because you're investing, $15,000. So that's just unfortunate. Like I said, what the numbers are. Yes, it's expensive. And the places that most people, you can move to Montana, Wyoming,
good luck.
Right? You can move to some of these places, but you want to live like there are 6 24-hour cities. And again, this is that thing. When I said this, people are like, "What?" This is like there are actual cities that are 24-hour cities, and there are 6 of them. It's D.C., New York, Boston, Chicago, L.A., and San Francisco. Those are the.
Philly's not on there?
No, those are that. Like I said,
wow,
there's this is from Investopedia.
Gotcha.
So there are 6 24-hour cities. Like I said, D.C., New York, Boston, Chicago, L.A., and then San Francisco. Though the cost of living in those places is insane, and as a lot of people know, the cost of living is extremely high. Obviously on the coast, right, and really on the water. And Chicago's on the water. Everybody knows cost of living is always higher on the water from a real estate perspective. And for those paying attention, I said D.C., New York, Boston. Those are DC to Boston is 8 hours. Obviously, there's crazy traffic, but that's 8 hours worth. And those are half the 24-hour cities. And as Jordan just said, Philly's not in there. Neither is Baltimore. Neither is Annapolis, right, which is both on the water, and as well as Philly. You sort of got Pittsburgh to the west of PA, but still. Then before you get to New York, what do you have to go through? Jersey. Jersey is one of the most expensive states to live in. Mm-hmm. So it's just the math is what it is. That's what I'm really truly getting at. And what I'm saying, that's what you should be shooting for, because the numbers are what they are. Unfortunately, I do try to find lower numbers, but me, when the calculator says what it says, I'm just like, I'll rerun them again. But if I keep in the same answer,
listen,
yeah, because I know a lot of people who don't fit that. Most people don't fit that threshold. And I'm not saying. Like I said, I am saying that you're struggling, but just financially. Not that you're not putting in the work, not that you're not grinding, etc. But when you talk about, which I'll get into later on in another episode, but the investments and the lifestyle, you start factoring those things in. You add children in. The money's got to come from somewhere. And then, like I said, even if you make 80K, you live in Maryland, and you're 30 years old, and you have no debt, you barely getting by. Yeah. That's what I said. When we add in debt into this, please.
And he said it's on a per state basis. Maryland, I think it's top 10.
We're not. 10. We have to fight at the top. But Maryland is the most expensive place to live in. We have the most millionaires per capita. I think our millionaire ratio is 1 out of 12 or 1 out of 13. It obviously helps that a lot of politicians probably have their residence as here, because of DC.
Right.
But for those, like I said, everyone's probably lives in Maryland, but it's Maryland, DC, and Nova, Northern Virginia. And when I say Maryland, I mean Baltimore City, Baltimore County, PG County, Anne Arundel County, Moco, and then DC, and then Northern Virginia, which is Nova. That's pretty much all the same place. You can't, if your cost of living doesn't change no matter where you go. You have to come out here to Harford County, where Jordan lives at, and his wife.
Sorry, fellas. Like friends that are listening to this in Harford County, you don't count.
You're right. Yeah, okay. Jordan's median household income is way more than $50,000. I know when I told him, he's gonna be like, "Oh man," now you're probably thinking like, "Dang, I'm really doing well." Then you heard what I said where I live at. He's like, "Crap."
Average.
Right. So that's important. Like I said, you can look up the city, but again, obviously you don't just live in your city when you go other places. So that's why I said at least by state. But again, some places like pockets like New York City, like LA, San Diego, San Fran, the Bay Area. But those are a little bit different. You want to get those because $100,000 in LA or San Fran is nothing.
Right. Change.
So yeah, and even 200 K, you gotta but you adjust for that thing. Like I said, that cost of living website that'll give you more in-depth info on that.
Dang, fellas, I tried to help you all out, man.
No.
I mean, next time a lady asks you if you broke, tell her you live in Maryland. That's all I can tell you. I mean, that's the best you can do.
Yeah, well, let's
get your money up in the meantime.
Let's be clear. I'll be an advocate for y'all as I am, but in respect to black women, I'm not. Don't make me we're about to run the fade on those finances.
We are.
So
you ready? So hold on. Let me. Are you good on that?
Yeah, we can. Like I said, I'll double back when I get to the investments and the generational wealth. I'll bring that up again.
Got you.
Because that's when I'll run the budget on the $300,000.
For our listener that asked that question, I hope that answered.
She it didn't.
Right. Well.
Hey, if you really want to know the real answer to this question, how do you spot a broke dude? Does he have medical insurance? Don't have sex with men who don't have medical insurance. That's my answer.
He's not lying.
That's my answer. I said it on the last episode.
The result of sex is potentially is procreation, and if you ain't got no medical insurance, good luck. I mean,
that's what my health and sex ed teacher said in high school. You know what we call people who have sex? Parents. Shout out to Miss Towns. Oh gee, she was one of those teachers who taught. She taught kids sex ed, and then those kids had sex and had kids, and then she taught like her the kids she taught kids. Yeah. She was one of those career teachers. Yeah, word to Miss Towns, love her. But yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go for that though. Man, look.
Okay. Sips tea on this one. All right. This next one. All right. So we got this.
This is the cancel question.
Yeah.
This is it.
This one might make our last episode, guys. So
lies. We'll
be back next week.
Yeah.
So there was a TikTok flying around where a young lady was on there basically stating that she feels like the man in the relationship should pay the whole mortgage or rent. So the question is, should a man pay all the mortgage or rent?
Right. Okay.
And we would plug the TikTok in, guys. We'll post it in the link description so you guys can access it if you want to. But we can't play it live.
Yeah, we didn't prep for it. We probably could have, but Jordan, I have TikTok. Jordan doesn't, and the questions are on his phone. So
sorry guys.
It's all good though. So so she was saying she asked this on Instagram, and then then I guess she brought up TikTok, whatever. But yeah, she said, ladies, should your man, husband, or whatever pay the entire rent or mortgage? And then she mentioned how she was raised, I believe, in the South, as traditional household, right, where the man's, expected to provide for everything. Then she said she's a millennial woman. Then she said she was 27. She has her own. She has multiple streams of incomes and 2 degrees, which I can sue everyone myself and get the degrees and what y'all bring to the table. Yeah. Here's the main. There are multiple. Look, like I said, I prep for this question, so this okay. There are multiple things with this one. The issue is the underlying question with this, for modern day terms, is what are men expected to bring to the table, right? That's essentially this question. Let me say this. A lot of women are coming to the table as girlfriends and then expecting a husband to come to the table and pick them as their wife. In the words of my brother, girlfriends don't get married, wives do. Back to the mindset situation here, right? It's the mindset. So what should men bring to the table? Well, as I just said about that 25 to 30 years old, again, let's say I'm going to play both sides here, right? Okay. So when I'm working with men and I'm coaching them, I do my best to put them in a situation, obviously, if they're single,
right,
to where they can pay for the financial house, which is food and shelter, which in this case would be utilities and your rent or mortgage.
Gotcha.
Right? Then basic clothing, transportation. No car loan is transportation because we'll get rid of that car loan.
Right.
So it would just be insurance and gas. And then obviously they have medical, dental, vision insurance, and life insurance. 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. no debt, and they're investing. That's the floor I try to get all men to as fast as possible, regardless if they're married or not. But obviously, it's different if they're married. But for single men, that's the floor I try to get them to as quickly as I possibly can.
Gotcha.
Right? Because you're paying for all your necessities, you're investing, and you have emergency fund, and you have no debt. Now, for me, I don't know what else women want brought to the table outside
the
of
table itself. So
where is this infamous table? No. So, should a man pay for all the rent and mortgage? In short, no. The issue is, she said, your man, your husband, or whatever. Women, y'all need to stop. Like I said, what's the definition of broke dude? It needs to be more clarity brought into what you want in a relationship. Like I said, your husband, that's different. But a man, right? I mean, a non-husband, which is technically your friend from a legal standpoint, a tax standpoint. Look, first off, he has a mortgage. This is man or woman. You don't pay the mortgage if you're not on it. That's why this question was sort of funny to me, how she phrased it. I know it's a TikTok, but still. I'm going to be very, very, very clear, very clear. Man or woman, if you are not on a mortgage and you're not married, you don't pay the mortgage. That don't even make sense. And also, too, to be honest, if you marry someone, right, and they already have a house, I wouldn't pay the mortgage until either, you get the paperwork redone for the loan, or you got the will set up to where if they pass away, you get the home. Dude, So that's that if it's just like a man, right? Then on top of that, let's say, right, both of you have your own apartment and you move in with him. Okay. Well, he's already paying for the rent, so that's a null and void question, because I'm not
gonna make you pay for it if I'm already paying for it. You move in,
right? And then vice versa, fellas. If you move in with her, I assume, well, that's the thing. Cash App, she might not already been paying for the rent. Let me be careful. She might have been getting help, but then never mind. But yeah, if she's already paying for it, then she should continue paying, because you were already doing it beforehand. Let's say though you move, like you and your wife did, but your girlfriend at the time, right. Y'all move in together. I'm gonna be very, very clear. The biggest financial risk you can make is merging your finances with someone who you're not married to.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all who move, I know people do. I mean, I don't care. But people, you're moving together, you're not married. That is a significant risk you're taking when you start acting like you're married financially. You're not. Unfortunately, people do get divorced, but at least when you're married, you have the legal protection of being married in that process. When you are not married, again, you're not married, so there's a lot of ambiguity, whatever that word is, ambiguous situation.
Right.
And then it's hard to figure that out. Again, I told Jordan this. If you ever take out any more debt, make sure it's only with your wife. Do not get on a loan with someone you're not married to.
Exactly.
People are out here talking about, should he pay the mortgage? People are out here, your man gets a mortgage and then you get on the mortgage with your man. Y'all not married. Oh my goodness!
The married people lifestyle, but not the status.
Yeah, and if you don't have the will set up, right, and one of you pass away, then their heirs technically get the home. And since y'all not married, you're not the immediate heir. If you have the will set up, now you own a home like with their parents. That's crazy. But yeah, but the real issue with this question is, as always, what should men bring to the table? Well, in response to that, what should women bring to the table? So as this woman said, she wants a traditional man. Well, I would assume a traditional man would want
a traditional woman.
Look, here comes the logic. What's a traditional woman? Barefoot in the kitchen, dinner made when I get home and house clean. I mean, that is, in general, but, obviously, update that. And again, you don't have to be this. As I said on a previous episode, it's not what you want. It's does the person you want you. Like, it's not a one-way street when it comes to relationships. So that's really the question.
Gotta be a mutual connection.
Yes, gotta be a mutual connection. So then what are women bringing to the table? This is a black woman. So what are black women bringing to the table? A whole bunch of student loan debt. Here we go. You ready for this?
Wow.
Out of all the student loan debt, how much do you think women hold as a percentage? All women.
I'm gonna throw out a number. 65%.
Yes, it's 66%. They hold 2/3.
Oh wow.
Women hold 2/3 of all the student loan debt. That's almost $1 trillion. Now, the great thing about that is, men, we only got 33%. I don't got none. But it's only, Jordan almost stayed a couple months.
Be locked in.
Yeah, but 33%, that's pretty much still a lot of money, but women hold 66%. Then on top of that, that's one stat, okay? Stat number 2, black people, as you mentioned before, are more likely to take out debt than any of the other races. So when it comes to actually applying for a student loan, taking out debt, we're more likely to take out debt. Then stat number 3, when it comes to everyone who takes out debt, black people take out more money, like when we actually take out debt as far as the dollar amount. Right. So you couple those 3 statistics together, and what do you have? Black women with the most amount of debt. So black women take, I think it's a little over 37, I $1,000, I think the median that black women take out. Then on top of that, how do most people get their degrees? How do they pay for them? With debt. Who has the most degrees?
Black women.
Well, so this is, and to let me save myself here, what I test everyone to do from now on, I got a lot of photographer friends, but from now on, when I see these college graduation photos, bachelor's and on up, I need the amount of student loan that that person is graduating with. I test that to everyone in the black community, because that's the real issue. At the end of the day, we are trending down right now. Everything everybody's doing financially, it don't matter. We're heading down. We're not moving up. We're going down. And at the end of the day, assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. Our net worth is going towards zero. So we have to look at the liability situation and the debt in our community for whatever reason, the wealth gap, racial issues, yada, yada, yada. Keep making excuses. Remember, Tulsa, Oklahoma ended 56 years after slavery. So the question is, have the last 56 years from 1965 to 2021, were they worse than the 56 years from 1865 to 1921? So that's pretty much civil rights movement to now, or end of slavery to the end of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was the wealthiest black community in the United States of America. A lot of y'all act like that the last 56 years were way worse than right after slavery. And that's when we were at our peak from a financial standpoint as black people. So that's really the situation. What should men come to the table with? Less debt. What should women come to the table with? Less debt. This is your husband, we haven't done joint accounts yet. Your husband doesn't pay the bills. Y'all pay the bills. I don't even care if you're one of you stay at home. There's no I. So if you want to get married, you pay the bills too. I don't care if you're working or not. Y'all are paying all the bills together. That's how your budget is set up. And again, here we go. See, I'm on one today. You have a 93% chance if you're a black married couple to get divorced in under 5 years. 7% of black marriages last longer than 5 years. This is the whole issue. At the end of the day, I test people to say, name me a single statistic that black people dominate that isn't most professional athletes and most artists. Name me one statistic that we dominate that's a positive statistic. Don't worry, I will wait, because it's none.
Well,
we dominate all the bad statistics, most debt, heart disease, overweight, and all the bad ones. We're right up there at the top, right? So that's the real issue. It doesn't matter if your man can or can't pay the mortgage or rent, or if he should pay all of it. Let's just say from a budgeting example.
Right.
Let's say the rent is $1,500, right?
Okay.
Then he pays $500 elsewhere in the budget. So he's taking out $2,000 for your household. And then in the comments, a lot of them were saying, I'll pay for something somewhere else. Let's say you're again, what are you paying for, right? You got to define this stuff. But let's say the woman's something else total is $2,000 as well. So what's it? If y'all both putting up $2,000,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I was actually
you ready? Go ahead.
So to put in again, so I'm actually living this right now, right? Like real world experience right now. So my wife and I, we literally just bought a home, and so technically on paper, yes, I do pay the mortgage, right? But going back to what Cory just reiterated, she pays a lot of other things that aren't necessarily the mortgage, which makes that amount equal, right? So if I have no problem sharing. My mortgage is $2,400, right? So I pay that whole thing, right? But my wife then pays the utilities. She pays the groceries. Right. You know what I mean? So when you start adding in these individual line items off the budget, she's contributing just as much to these other things that aren't the mortgage that equate to the same amount as, you know what I mean, if she would have contributed to the mortgage, right? So when you get down to it, it really doesn't matter who specifically pays what line item if it's all coming out of the same pot. You see what I'm saying? So you kind of just gotta mature mentally at some point and just, if it's really that big of a deal to you, okay, yeah, let your husband, not your man, let your husband pay the mortgage, right? If that makes you feel better, sure, I'll pay the mortgage. But if you're still making the contributions because it's all one pot like you're supposed to, the numbers are gonna still equal the same amount. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we do ours from a percentage standpoint, right? Because as far as an income standpoint, yes, I do technically make more, but we still contribute the same amount percentage wise, so that it balances out. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So no,
I'm living it. Next clip is loaded.
Right.
I'm not done.
I had to get Cory to try to catch his breath because he's lighting this thing up, man.
Yeah. So again, as Jordan just said, but in short, Jordan makes enough money to pay for all of the bills for their everything, not just their financial house, but everything. So now, again, as Jordan mentioned before, women, y'all have to accept that wives is the ultimate status that you can receive from a man. So this is, said husbands, and wives in this situation. But if your husband makes enough money to pay for all the bills, what does it matter if the mortgage or rent is like directly coming from his paycheck? I mean, because everybody gets paid different. You might get paid. Jordan doesn't get paid the same amount every single check.
Right.
And so there's so many factors in exactly how the money is coming in to your household. But it doesn't matter. Like in this case, if your man makes $5,000 and your entire budget is $4,000, why does it matter if you pay to rent a mortgage or not? If you lose your job, he can still pay for everything. Exactly. So there's so many layers to this question. But yeah, back to getting the ultimate title for men. For women, the ultimate title you can give a man is father. Because that's what we put it like this.
Need that legacy.
If a man, exactly. I don't know, we're not there yet. But think about this: a man gets married, right, and he becomes a stepfather. Men are going to look at him and ask him, "Where your kids at?" From her.
Yep.
Right.
They really are.
Right. And for men, look, man, if you don't got the wife, look, I mean, at the end of the day, y'all know rosters in the streets. Meg just dropped her thought. What was her thought song called?
Thought stuff.
Thought stuff. Yeah, she just, what I mean? Like, y'all know what it is out here in the streets. But yeah, that's the one thing. It needs to be more clear of what people actually want in their relationships. And then on top of that, right, I was talking about the S word. I remembered it was now, but are you going to submit to your man? It's not about submitting to your man. The S word is actually support. When your man says, "Hey, I've been listening to this podcast. I want us to get out of debt and get in shape," are you going to support him in that decision? Or are you going to be combative with him? Right? You're going to challenge him.
And it's okay to
support
challenge him in a positive manner. Let's be clear. You can ask questions, right? But if the outcome still leads to you guys making a more positive lifestyle change, that's the result you want, right? You want to be competitive to the point where the idea gets dismissed. Okay, you want to ask enough questions to then obtain more knowledge to then execute correctly, but you don't want to be combative to the point where it gets dismissed.
Exactly. So here's the thing. The real issue is that what happens when women make more money than men, and what happens when you get involved in that situation. At the end of the day, hypergamy exists in humans. Hypergamy is when someone dates up, therefore the other person has to date down. And in humans, women date up, therefore by definition, men have to date down. I mean, that's how that works. I'm gonna say it again because logic. If women are dating up, by definition, the men have to date down to date them. You both can't date up because then you wouldn't be dating each other. So in that case, again, unfortunately, men do make more money than women on average. So in short, the man/husband you want to marry, he really don't care that, and men really don't care how much money women make. But at the end of the day, right, we're talking about husband, right? Husband really means like house bond, so like bonding the house. Remember earlier I was talking about the definition of economy, which is household management. So for women who make more than their husband, who's going to be the quote unquote leader or in charge of the finances, right? Your husband at house bond, the person handling the economics, is he going to be able to make those executive or presidential type decisions? And then you would be quote unquote as the vice president or giving advice to him, right? From a biblical standpoint, a lot of people, wisdom, right? That's the book of Proverbs, which is wisdom from King Solomon. However, wisdom is what? Do you know what wisdom is? Wisdom is feminine. Wisdom is feminine. Right. Okay. So by definition, vice president giving advice, that would be the wife's role. But if a lot of women are coming to the table with a lot of quote unquote masculine traits,
right?
Where's the wisdom at? I mean, guys have wisdom too, but that's why we joined the military. Go out there and fight until you die. Okay. I mean, whereas women are like, I don't know if that's a good idea, right? That type of general overall balance. So that's something very key. Even when you look at the Bible and Proverbs, it even says that wisdom, the only thing older than wisdom is God himself. Wisdom was there when God was creating the heavens and earth. So everything. So as the man is working and creating or building, providing, procuring, protecting, the wife or wisdom is there, the feminine energy to give him advice along the path in life.
Okay.
It's very, for those of you who aren't,
Preacher Cory.
The Bible episode isn't up yet. My man's is here to get that vouch. But those are a lot of things that come into play because at the end of the day, a lot of women want homo relationships. You don't want hetero relationships. And I don't mean sexually. I mean the actual relationship. A lot of women bring to the table or lead with my finances, my education, etc., which is what you look for from a man. But by definition, if he looks for the same thing from you, that would be a homo. But you want a hetero relationship. So he has to look for the opposite in you. Or by definition, you would bring the opposite to the table as far as what you truly lead with. It doesn't mean that you can't make your money, etc., etc. But again, Women look for the ability to provide and protect. So by definition, in a hetero or opposite relationship, a man will be looking for something different, right? And then on top of that, again, I talk about the debt, how much black women have the most student loan debt. A lot of y'all got money, according to my timeline. I'm gonna be very, very clear. I did the statistics on this. I could be wrong. 1% of black women make $100,000. So I don't know how many of y'all got the bag.
Y'all got the bread.
I don't know how many of y'all got the bag, but it's 1%.
Narrow.
I mean, it's 10%. It's 10% of men make. I think 10% of 15% of people, because it's household and individual. I think 10% of men make 100,000, and then 4% of women, like all one, single, not single, right? All of that. But let's say, right, you want a man who makes 6 figures, and that's at most you got a 10% chance, right? This goes so in short, a coin flip in football, that's luck. That's 50-50.
Right.
We're talking about a 10% chance. So really, you would be extremely lucky, ladies, to get a man who makes $100,000 plus. And luck is what? The combination of hard work and opportunities, right? So if you have the opportunity to meet this man that you quote unquote want, that you would not be settling for, have you put in the hard work in the past? Do you have the compound interest to be prepared for that situation? And at the end of the day, if only 10% of men make 6 figures, they would be the advantage, because those 10% of men aren't attracted to 10% of the women population. Men are attracted to like almost all of it because we're men.
I mean, ain't lying.
So that's where it comes to, should men pay all the rent? It really dwindles down to, what should men bring to the table? No, men should not have to pay for all the rent. Obviously, you should be working to that position, right? Because most people want to have families and things of that nature, children. So you want to be able to, as quote unquote a man, to provide everything for your family. So you put your wife in the position so she has the options to quote unquote do whatever she wants in modern day. Stay at home if she wants to, work part-time if she wants to, or work full-time. There is mom guilt. Here we go, women, I'm on your side now. Mom guilt, where either you're guilty either way. You work full-time, you look that bad as a mom. You work part-time, you look that bad as a mom. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you look down upon. There's only 3 options. You either work full-time or not, or you work part-time. And there's nothing else you can do. So that is the case as well. But really, I'm glad I remember this now. All the engaged and married women, y'all need to stop arguing with these single women you don't know on the internet. That's the real issue. And then what you also need to do, as 2 men here saying this and going to get canceled, the wives and the engaged women, you need to speak up more on this situation. You could sense, man, they're abusive, or who hurt you, or your mama black. Oh my God. But as women, you usually don't deal with that type of stuff. So for the women who think other women sound crazy, right? All the married women, my man does this or has this, whereas the single women are talking about the theoretical man that they want.
Right.
It's like, what? No results. Because in short, imagine, being in your late 30s and 40s and you still single, talking about, this is settling for a man. To be more objective, that'd be like a man who's 40 years old, who's been making $30,000 to $40,000 for 15 years, talking about, hey man, I'm gonna show you how to make $100,000. We got the single women defining the parameters on how to become a wife, whereas the wives should be defining the parameters of the pipeline on how to become a wife.
Exactly.
Again, to revert it back to the objective scenario, we got men who make $30,000, $40,000 creating the parameters of pipeline on how to make 6 figures, whereas the 6-figure plus earners should be defining the pipeline parameters on how to do that.
It's backwards, y'all.
It's backwards, and that's why the state community is where it is. My man asked a question. He said, "Can black women lead?" I said, the household. I said, that's a rhetorical question. Have you pulled up the statistics of the black community the last 30, 40 years in which black women have been leading? The answer to that question would be no, because I thought y'all don't like where we at. Now y'all can say whatever reason you want until why the black men are in the household, but the matriarchy exists in the black community as of late. And so there are 2 other options. Either black men raise kids on their own, or black men and women raise kids on their own. And both options, what do you have? Black men, right? Black boys, 4th grade reading level, right? I don't understand. So men, no, you don't got to pay all the rent and mortgage. That's foolish. Don't pay the mortgage if y'all not married and you're not on it. Don't get on it with someone who you're not married to. From a rent standpoint, look, man, y'all do what y'all want to do. But again, I think the parameters of relationship we discussed up front and early on, trying to decrease the tabooness around finances. Y'all need to discuss, for me, just discuss it up front, what you're looking for.
Communicate, lock in.
Yeah, and discuss how you want to move on. Again, if you're dating for marriage, make that clear because it's easier to formulate how your relationship is going to be versus y'all just going about it, half-assing it and just trying to figure out how things are going to go. And then now you're looking up 2-3 years in, you got a kid and y'all really don't know what you're doing because you're not married. And then you break up and now everything is screwed.
And again, living this, right? Like, I don't think there was ever actually a formal discussion to be like, hey, Jordan, I want you to pay all the mortgage. I mean, literally, where this came from is it's easier for it just to all come from one account. So what ended up happening is, okay, the way the money falls, it's like, who can pay all this before it's due? You know what I mean? At that time. And it was like, all right, I got it. You know what I mean? So that's how paying the mortgage became a thing in my household. It wasn't even so much that my wife was like, hey, you need to pay all the mortgage. It was like, I mean, I can clear it before the first because that's when it's due.
Exactly, right.
So,
yeah, married. That's married.
Exactly.
Married, right? And that, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying communicating and being financially like-minded is what led us to these decisions, right? I feel like a lot of this input or this TikTok is from people who
I said the single women are out here. Look, single women keep women single. Look, I'm telling you, I got this later on, but a lot of women, the reason you're not married is because your quote unquote husband saw your girlfriends and he was like, no. Real talk. No.
A lot of y'all are looking for y'all dream man. He probably already passed you by.
Yeah, he already passed you by.
In the position to be a wife.
You already met him. You already met him, and so that's the thing too. Again, there are shortage for women who want a objective, a 6-figure plus earner. At the end of the day, though, in the Black community, there are more women than men. So I already mentioned this, but by definition, in a monogamous relationship, men have the advantage because we're not going to be SOL. There are more women than men, so we're all going to get married off, and we just pair it off 1-to-1. So just off of that, the strength of that alone, men have
options,
literally. Then you want to talk about a Black man that makes 6 figures and is single in your location, meets your height, weight, physique, sexual prowess. Please. Well, how many people y'all think there are?
That's like, I mean, again, example, right? That's like a unicorn knowing it's a unicorn, you know, and knowing its worth, right?
Yeah. Let me be clear.
If you're one of 10, okay.
And then that's all men. So we need to divide, take out the married men. That's pretty much half.
Right.
We're talking about the men who want women, right? I don't think we can say that word on YouTube.
I got you.
Talking about the men who want women, then you double down. Then they have to be in your location. Then if you have a height, weight, physical prowess, sexual prowess, and race preference, then you have to actually be in the proximity. Then at the end of the day, that's your checklist. Y'all can all have what you want. Right. Does that man want you?
So then we went from a 1 of 10 to now I'm a 1 of 1.
Bruh.
And I'm outnumbered.
Let me say this. I mean, we know a lot of Black people. I don't know a single guy over 6 feet that makes 6 figures.
You don't know a single guy?
A Black guy. I don't know one Black. Out of all the Black guys I know that are 6 feet, I don't know anyone that makes 6 figures.
I do. I mean, they're an athlete though.
Professional athlete?
Yeah, you said a single.
No, I'm talking about ones I actually know personally.
Yeah, guys over 6 feet that make 6 feet.
Excluding the athletes and entertainers, no triple A's.
Okay, I was about to say.
No athletes, actors and artists.
Okay.
Yeah, none of
that. Gotcha.
No.
Okay, so yeah, no.
No, yeah, I mean, and that's what I was bringing up before on an earlier episode when I said, now, again, if y'all don't want monogamy, then you can just dead this whole conversation. There are plenty of men out here who will put you up in Miami, and when he's in town, and y'all know exactly what I'm saying.
And what's going down when he's in town.
Yeah, and you keep that off the internet because, his wife can't know. But, for those who know me personally, like I grew up in high school with, there's a girl I went to high school with, she is in a relationship with somebody in the NFL, and he's a very good NFL player. But I saw the whole maturity of that. Like, she was always dating the best athlete she could get around, I swear to God. And it worked. That's why I call it 10,000 hours. It worked. She was always dating the best athlete she could get her hands on.
She was putting the time in. She was prepping for the moment.
And he's about to, I think he's getting paid next year. His contract's going to end this year, this last season. So she got a kid by him, and the baby looked just like him. So, he ain't denying that.
Shout out to her.
Hey, people know exactly what I'm talking about. And her baby daddy ended up getting, good out of nowhere. He wasn't a first-round pick. So, look, talking about striking gold. But yeah, what needs to be brought to the table? I think more parameters need to be discussed when relationships are being started. If you want marriage, you need to openly disclose that. Discuss how you want your finances to be handled, right? That's the main cause, right? The divorce, infidelity, the sexual or mismanagement of finances. Discuss children, right? I mean, because it would sound foolish if someone said I married someone who doesn't want to have kids and I want to have kids. Everyone would know that don't make no sense.
Exactly.
But on the financial or the fitness thing, it's like, people don't look at it the same way.
I mean, you have to be comfortable with putting yourself in uncomfortable conversations, right? Prior to marriage. Someone say that one more time. Be comfortable with putting yourself in uncomfortable conversations prior to marriage. do you want to have kids? Like Corey said, I mean, talk about it, right? Why would you lock in for the rest of your life? I mean, let's be honest. Some of y'all, get married with the intent of not being locked in for the rest of your life. That's half the problem. But why would you lock in with somebody for the rest of your life with someone who doesn't agree on a permanent life decision? You know what I mean? And there's no compromising with kids. Like, either you want them or you don't. It's a 1 or a 0. It's binary.
It's binary.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a.
You can't have a half a kid. You can't have them for half your life and then give them. I mean, it don't work like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, that's the cancel question. I mean, look, I said what I said, and when we get to the generational wealth and legacy, I'm doubling back. Like I said, this question, but when we start defining when I put numbers to this stuff,
y'all gonna be upset.
Look, again, I need to see social media posts of college graduates. I need all men and women. I need how much money. Jordan didn't do this when he graduated. I was gonna comment, but it's his life. Master's degree, no debt.
I mean,
0. Shout out to me. I came in just in time. I'm lying. I mean, I did technically, but yeah. I mean, I didn't give him no money. Word to his dad, actually. But yeah, I mean, that would be the first step. I feel everyone needs to be more transparent with their finances.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, have that conversation.
Yeah.
What's your debt look like? What's your income look like? I mean, and do it without it. Don't be. I mean, I don't want to say sound like a gold digger, but I mean, the more situational awareness, right? The more you know, the more informed decision you can make, especially when they start becoming long term, right? Like if you're dating somebody and this is gonna be a permanent thing. What's the plan? You know what I mean? What do you have? You need to know everything that's on the table so you can make the best decision about what to eat next. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that being said,
this is a forever question. The table and discussing finances, especially in the Black community, this question is essentially always underlying. That's why you need to get on a budget, right? Like I said, necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. And when we get to the investing in generational wealth, I'll put numbers to that and then, recap and work it in on what y'all be saying y'all want. And then when I put the math to it, I'm sorry. It just, the math is what it is. So we're good on that for now. Shout out to our cancel question.
I appreciate you. So you ready for this follow-up?
Yeah, ready for the next one.
Okay, so a follow-up for that is we're already talking about married life and assets and financial management. So should you get a prenup? I know I just said a cuss word there, but
should you get a prenup? The answer to this question is yes or no. Yes and no. In general, most people don't have enough assets, nor do they die with enough assets to where they need to get a prenup, because the prenup would truly just be for how you're going to handle the kids.
Right.
Most people don't actually, in the day.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
What? Go ahead.
No, so prenups are actually.
I'm going to let you. Yeah, I'm
Go
not
ahead.
attacking. But yeah, because I know you got your spiel on this. But in general, most people don't actually have the assets. I know, as you're going to say, prenups can be set up for other things. But in general, most people just. In short, you need a prenup to say, hey, if we get divorced, your debt goes with you.
Pretty much.
That's the majority situation that most people are in. However, for those who don't know, prenups are just not quote unquote a financial document of what happens when you get divorced. You can add.
Yeah, you can add a plethora of stuff to it. So it's basically a contract that limits debt, property, investments, anything. There's a long laundry list of things that can be included in prenups. The recommendation of whether the question is whether you should get one or not. I think you should get a prenup, and I'm saying this because you should get one when both parties are in a happy state, right? So if you're making decisions on things like property, finances, investments, when you're both in a mutual state of love toward one another, then it prevents a lot of these conversations that you potentially would have to have down the line if you were to divorce, right? So what people don't realize is when you get in that state, you're depending on why you got divorced or what the state of the relationship is when you're going through that process, you're usually going for blood, meaning like you're
it's a business decision, it's a financial decision.
As I think Corey said this before, if infidelity triggers a part of your brain,
getting cheated on sexually triggers the same part of your brain at the same degree. So it's essentially the same thing as some type of financial issue. Exactly. So that's why I said infidelity is funny, same word, it's the exact same thing.
So that being said, it cuts you deep, right? So if you're going through that, and if that's one of the causes of your divorce, and let's be honest, usually it is from a statistic standpoint, usually those are one of the 2 reasons you're getting divorced, right? You're going for blood. That means you're trying to take, usually for the most part, you're trying to take all the property or all the investments.
If
or
you're a
all
woman, men don't get anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I mean we can talk about that too. I mean, the law is in favor most of the time of the women, but yeah. So that being said, if you do have a prenup, a lot of this stuff is decided ahead of time, right? And again, in good faith. Basically saying, like you said, you walk away with the debt that you came in with if it's not paid off already. But I mean, if you working with Cory, you'll have that squared away, so you don't have to worry about it.
Situation, yes, the debt. I mean, you can get married with the debt, but y'all would be
yeah. And then and then any debt that's acquired while you are officially a couple or married, is then considered joint investment or a joint property, and then you either sell off pieces of in the event of a divorce, you either sell off pieces of the estate to cover the remaining balance on those things, or you would just then sell those things and divide it down the middle, right? I mean, there are varying agreements that you can come up with a prenup. However, I just think it's good to have as a just in case, right? Now the goal is to get married and stay married, right?
Yeah, until you die.
Exactly. So of course, if you're vetting the person correctly and you're going through this process and you're dating and you're asking the right questions and you're comfortable with being uncomfortable in conversation, then you get to the point where you have all the answers, and for the most part, things go well, right? Your statistically, your chances of success in marriage go up. You lock in, and then you make this agreement, and then you put it away in a cabinet somewhere. You never have to worry about it, right?
Exactly.
But it's like your parachute that if you ever need it is already packed. It's packed correctly. And all you have to do is pull the cord, right? Now imagine being on this plane of marriage, not having that parachute and having to jump out. Good luck. I mean,
if you're a man, if you're women, women don't need prenups.
Listen, if you're a woman and you're on that, and you're on that plane, you're flying the plane to the next airport. The man just not gonna be on that plane when you get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, fellas, I'm saying you protect yourselves, and I'm saying that with the intent of stay married. Okay, that's how you protect yourself. Stay married. You don't have to worry about it. But it is a good agreement to have.
Yeah,
it covers a variety of things.
Let me clarify too, because I said yes and no. I said no because in general, most people don't have nothing. When you get divorced, it's literally, dang, we gotta sell that. We can't sell the house because the kids gotta stay here and all these type of things. Most people don't got nothing, unfortunately.
Right.
However, when I was saying yes, that would be man or woman. Y'all are coming into the marriage and you have significantly more assets than the other person, or you both just have a lot of ass and sets. A lot of assets on your own, but if there's one of you are a multi-millionaire, another person is a negative 100,000-aire, you need to get a prenup. That's when there's clear cuts. You get one no matter what. When there's a significant difference in assets, not income, assets. Because a lot of y'all got a lot of income and y'all assets are still the same with the person to make 30% of what you make. Y'all both got a negative 50 net worth, 50K net worth. So that's when you would definitely get one. There is a big difference in the assets that either party's bringing to the table, or you both are just bringing a lot. Both of you got multi-million-dollar businesses. You just want to, if you want to, right? You would get that. Then on top of that, we're talking about divorce, unfortunately. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't know this. When you get divorced, everything gets separated but the kids.
Right.
People get divorced and will still have a loan with their ex-spouse. Y'all are, I don't know, again, I'm not a lawyer, but Jesus, my fees are definitely lower. Because if I was your lawyer in divorce, everything is separated paperwork-wise except birth certificates and things that involve children.
Right.
Everything. If you get a divorce with someone, you literally have your name on nothing that doesn't involve the kids. Nothing. Because people do this and they want help. It's like, I'm sorry, you still have a mortgage with your ex-wife?
Why?
Well, I mean, the kids still live there. Okay, and this is, again, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like this. Divorce hurts the kids worse than the parents. I mean, so y'all, it is what it is. The kids get screwed more than the adults. But at the end of the day, you're keeping the house that the wife can't afford, that the husband still technically has to put some money up for, because you want to keep the kids in the same school district. No, sell the house, split it 50-50, and get an apartment, because that's what you can now afford as a single parent.
Yep.
That's called real life, and people don't want to do that, and then the stuff gets royally screwed. And one thing with divorce, so we're talking about the prenup, for me, I always made the joke, I'm going to tell my kids, your mother took all of your legacy. I don't know, because, as we can get the legacy and generational wealth talk, but I told you, at the end of the day, your wife and your husband, everything we're doing is for the children and our grandchildren, you know, etc. So I don't know why you're trying to take the whole 401k. We agreed we wasn't gonna spend it all anyway.
Right.
Like,
it's not even for us.
The house is for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, we have the will set up, and you see everything in here is, you know, when we both die, this is who it goes to. So why are you trying to strip it from me or the other person, or make it so, you know, we're decreasing the ROI or how much we can invest in the long term? I'm gonna tell you straight up, your mom took everything.
Right.
Right. So yeah, prenups, again, like I said, in general, most people don't have enough assets.
You don't have anything to protect.
Yeah, you don't have anything to protect. Like I said, but you could get one though to make sure the person leaves with their debt. You leave with yours.
Right. You can always lock in. I think another thing people don't know is you can always update your prenup, right? You can do it at any time. It just requires a third party to witness a signature, a formal notary or something of that nature, to record the update for the legal documentation. The other thing is, prenups are strictly just like a general contract between you and your spouse, but I mean, ultimately, who decides what happens is the courts, right? It's the judge, right? So you bring this contract, it's a legal document that says X, Y, and Z, but I mean, the judge does have the ability to throw that entire statement out and do whatever they want to do anyway. So this is just something, again, that shows that you and your significant other came to an agreement in good faith for things that you currently have or things that you have in the future. But that being said, it could mean nothing in the long run. But I think it's something that's good to have in place, because, again, coming from a place of love, you know what I mean? While I love you, I want you to get half of everything. You know what I mean? Half of everything I got and half of everything I will get. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you ask me again after you cheat on me, I mean, well, you know, the answer's going to change for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, prenups are for men. They're not for women. Women have the ultra advantage in divorce court and what is it called? It's not family court. That's family court probably for divorce court too. So women don't need prenups. Few women get screwed on that. Word of Jeff Bezos gave up. His ex-wife is one of the wealthiest. I think she is. I mean, she might not be still, but was, I think, the wealthiest woman ever off the strength of the divorce. So yeah, you can put that in place. I mean, again, it's a protection. Again, anytime you get a lawyer involved, you know, I mean, you're doing your best to protect yourself. So yeah, you can get a prenup if you want to. You know, at the end of the day, don't marry. Don't be on the same page with your spouse. Be on the same page with your fiance. I mean, at the end of the day, you're supposed to have all these things figured out before you even sign that actual marriage certificate in the first place, to, you know, put your contingencies in place on what you guys are expecting in the marriage and what you're willing to not, you know, fight through. But at the end of the day, you never know what your spouse is doing anyway. He's not with them 24/7.
Exactly.
So that's called trust. All right, done with the prenup.
You ready?
You ready for the next question? Yeah. We're going to overtime.
All right.
We're going to overtime. Sorry, y'all.
We're very much aware that we're going to overtime. We got some stuff to cover, okay? Again, be an adult, pause and come back.
We try to get all the fan questions in. It's not our fault. We got a whole bunch of finances.
That's what I'm saying. Our guests were actually locked in this week, so
we're
firing them off.
We got a big one. Sorry for the mortgage rent one.
Gotcha. All right, you ready?
This ties in, yeah. So they all tie in.
Okay, so our next question, again, is from another guest, and they would like to know how to save for a wedding, right? So we know this is, you know, one of the potentially
you're engaged. Yeah. We say potential what?
No, go ahead.
No, we're just saying
potentially one of the biggest expenses that you could have.
Oh yeah, your entire marriage.
So
yeah.
That being said, you know what I mean. You do want to know how to save for it.
Do you know what my answer? Do you remember what my answer is for this?
I mean, I know what I did.
Okay.
I don't know if that was your answer, but
what
I know
did you do?
I didn't. I had a limit. I don't want to say I didn't have a wedding. I had a much smaller wedding, a traditional wedding.
You didn't have a traditional wedding.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You had a small one.
I had a small wedding. I had one that fit into my budget. So I mean, you want to continue real quick before you give your financial?
Look. How do you save for a wedding? You don't. I'm anti having a wedding. And let me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you want to?
I know the women like what? I mean,
let me be clear. Again, significant marriage counseling. Y'all don't get on the same page with finance with your spouse, same page with finance with your fiance. Y'all should already know how you want to handle debt, because you have already defined that before you even sign this marriage certificate. For me, and again, we are black, so back to the black women, and they're probably mad at me earlier and clicked off of this. How much debt is getting brought to the table? This is, I want to be very, 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 very clear. Let me speak on this, because this is sort of, I think this is one of my data questions. But let's say, what is it? Engagement ring. Men, do not take out debt for the engagement ring. Y'all are fools.
Don't do it.
I don't care what anyone says. Insanity. You're a fool. You're a full-blown fool. She needs you to take out debt for the wedding. First off, you don't need a ring. Again, people be mixing up marriage and being married and weddings. You don't need a wedding or an engagement ring or any of that stuff to be married.
Small interjection. I challenge you to look up the requirements to get married and then what you want for a wedding and see how much extra stuff is included in a wedding versus what is actually required to legally be married.
It's like $10, right?
Literally,
it's like
a certificate. In the state of Maryland, you have to have a formal ceremony. You have to have a witness.
Yeah, each side of the witness.
Yeah, so you have to have a witness on each side to sign the
document. Yeah, I didn't. I was the best man in the wedding. You gotta sign it.
And I'm 90% there. I think the certificate or in the actual ceremony, if you don't, you want to have one at the courthouse, I think it's $50, and the certificate itself is $50. So it's like
so $100 to get married.
$100
to get married.
$100, and I think about 4 signatures, including you and your spouse. Yeah. No, 5, because you got the officiant.
Yeah.
2 witnesses officiant, yours and your wife.
So, no wedding. But yeah, to me, if I'm working with someone, I got to see how much debt y'all have. Weddings, I think like $30 grand, $30. You wish it was $30. $30 grand. 30 grand. I know we're coming out the pandemic, so I assume these prices are going to be, you talk about inflation.
The 3 most expensive times in your life are when you're born, when you get married, and when you die. Okay? Let's be honest, people for a wedding, when you tell somebody,
yes, for a wedding, they tax.
It's times like 10, whatever the base price was. Right? I guarantee if you had the exact same event and called it something different, you'd save half the money. Right. It's a wedding is just a glorified party with the times 5 rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the issue with weddings is, again, marketing, like Valentine's Day. It's not they just made that to take money from us. But with weddings, you can have the wedding later on. Yes. Like the in all honesty, if you plan on being married until you die, well, unfortunately, some people do die early on, but if you plan on being married till you die, just have the wedding when you guys are more financially stable. Because the one thing, and this is how I am when I spend money, I don't have enough money for this, quote unquote. If I'm gonna do a wedding, essentially it's a big party. So we're gonna get everything. We don't want to cut back on things. We gotta get flowers here. We gotta cut here. No, like have the wedding you want to have, and obviously most time that's gonna be later on in life. You're gonna be more financially stable. But if you equate wanting to have the wedding, soon right after you got engaged, and you got all this debt, let's be very, very clear. You got 6 figures in debt. Non-mortgage debt, and you had a wedding, I don't even know what you want. That again, that's why we at where we at.
You're not lying.
That don't make no sense. And then go ahead.
No, I'm circling back around. So how to save for a wedding?
You don't. Technology. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask the question.
Yeah. I mean, but if you want to actually save for a wedding, so you have to put yourself in a position where you can save for the wedding. So that means debt.
Debt gone.
Yeah. Debt paid. Right. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No. I'm good.
Let me know if I'm in French.
We're sympathizing.
Right. It's locked in. Look. So debt paid. All right. Your income is up. Emergency funded. All right. So you make sure you got that put away to the side. And then from there, you plan accordingly. You cash flow the wedding. I know a lot of y'all like, what does that mean? You pay for it out of pocket. Okay, yes.
Y'all should know
can do that.
We're budgeting a lot.
Exactly.
Discretionary income. No, here's the one thing. If Jordan and his wife had a wedding, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
We really wouldn't.
That's one of my questions. Do you want the wedding, money for the wedding, or do you want down payment for the house? Then on top of that, the 3 months, what is it, 3 months expenses for an engagement ring? Let's be very, very clear. You want this man who can pay the rent and the mortgage? I'll be very, very clear. I don't say how much money I make, but I'll be buying a car. You got your rabbit ass mind.
If he's not locked, I'm talking about in a nice car. I'm not talking about a nice car. A nice car.
Yeah, a very nice vehicle, right? You want 3 months, and I assume it's post-tax. It's definitely not pre-tax. Right. It's definitely not pre-tax. It's definitely not 3 months. Now I think it's actually a month. Yeah, I'll do a month's worth of income. But think, if I give you a month for a ring, that means I only worked 11 months this year. I'm bad. But no, yeah. Again, I would think the mortgage outranks the wedding, or not the mortgage, buying a house, property, right? The good thing, y'all be wanting all this money, but then y'all don't make the money making decisions.
Like life experience. I've asked my wife that exact question. Do you want the home, or do you want the wedding? And look where we sitting at.
Yeah, she chose the home.
And it's not that.
Is the wedding even back on the table?
It's always on the table. So the good thing is that when you're in the position that
you'll do it when y'all want to.
Exactly. Right, so it's like hey, love, if you want to have this wedding, we can always have the wedding. But we have to. You want to put yourself in a position where you can prioritize what you want to prioritize, right?
Exactly.
And my wife wanted a house, so what did we do? We bought her the house, and then not even just the house. We wanted her the house that she wanted. That was the exact wording. I said, look, if we pay off debt, I will get you the house you want. And my wife literally picked the home out we're sitting in, and we made it happen.
Be careful with that because a pandemic might happen.
Listen.
and you're calling me talking about, Corey, we got the house. Look, bro, right now they said the house market's crazy.
Listen.
So, but no, yeah. That's...
Buying a home in a pandemic is wild. But I mean, you put yourself in a financial position where even when the delta does occur, you know what I mean, you can still compensate for it and do what you said you were going to do. Okay, so that being the case, how do you save for a wedding? I mean, you got to get to where you can, and then you account for it, save up that money on a monthly basis, and make it happen.
No, yeah, let me actually answer the question, because you can't save up for the wedding while you have debt. But again, how you save for the wedding? Budget. So you would be on a budget, and that's what I was talking about. At the end of the day, the budget is always the root for me. You would have your leftover amount, so you could quote unquote cash flow. Say you could save $2,000 a month, and y'all want to get married in a year. It's called $24,000 for the wedding. Corey, where can we get married for $24,000? You're the ones who don't have enough money, not me. Now, obviously, you can get your parents involved. I'm just saying. Like, that's why I always say that's the answer, because most people have debt. So that's why I'm like, you can't have the wedding because you probably got debt if you're listening to this. I just don't understand. Like, again, especially in the Black community, again, on our way to a zero net worth, it's got to be all about assets long term, not just obtaining but maintaining. Like, I mean, again, wedding. I mean, I'm in a wedding in October. I was in 2 weddings in a 6-month time span. Like, yeah, go ahead and get married. I don't care. Obviously, again, if you have a smaller wedding, but if you're trying to get the venues, just the venue is tens of thousands of dollars, and you have tens of thousands of dollars in debt, that's just a bad financial decision that you're making. And again, like I said, if you plan on, to death do us part, you can get the wedding whenever. I know some of you might have, older grandparents, so you want, invite them to the smaller wedding. Like that's the one thing too, you gotta start making sacrifices in your life so you can get what you want in the long term. Like I say, instant gratification lifestyle. It's like, where you want to be at in 10, 15, 20 years. And if you're essentially going to set back, not just yourself, generational wealth and legacy, your children, just so your grandmother, who unfortunately fumbled her entire life financially, that's not the move.
Exactly.
That's not the move. And yes, I just said that. Remember, Black Wall Street, 56 years after slavery. So unfortunately, silent generation, you don't get no excuses out of me.
And let's be clear, ladies. I know you guys are probably thinking we're coming at y'all sideways, like,
this is the episode.
Don't have the wedding.
This is the episode.
Forget them, those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. Look, notice we said don't have the wedding yet. We didn't say don't get married.
Yeah,
and that's go to the courthouse. You can get married, okay? Just plan for the wedding when you can have the wedding, when you can cash flow the wedding, and then you have to put the work in and do what is necessary to then have the money to cash flow the wedding.
Exactly. Yeah, you can have the wedding. Again, like I said, it's for y'all. Well, it's not, weddings aren't for men. But again, if it's not the wedding you want, then like just don't have butt it and just get something you don't really want, and wait until you got the money so you can do what you want to do. I mean, it's that simple.
Don't settle, just wait.
Yeah, well, they're settling because they're marrying a man who can't pay the rent and the mortgage. So we go with that. Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, okay. See, I forgot this. You know how many divorces are filed by Black women?
I don't.
80% of them.
Oh, wow. So something ain't working right.
Men don't leave their wives. That's never happened.
I mean, I kind of understand that, though, because I feel like if I get to the point where I want to get down on one knee and ask you to be with me forever, like, we locked in. Like, that's just how my mentality works. Like,
that's it.
I didn't go pay for a ring and, you know what I mean, and do all this and build up the nerve to ask you to be with me for the rest of my life for me to say, nah, I'm good.
Public, we got social media now. You're crazy.
Exactly.
Why would do that?
I'm locked in.
Yeah. I also think, things happen.
Still.
Hey, to death do us part. But yeah, okay, we good for that. How to save for a wedding? Yes, you would budget for it. Pay cash. Yeah, say how to save for a wedding. Pay cash for it. Do not go into debt for a wedding. Do not go in debt for the engagement ring.
And I mean,
stop going into debt.
Corey didn't say this directly, but I know we've talked about it before. On you can always squeeze your budget if you want to accelerate the pace at which you're saving for the wedding. No,
I'm saying take an extra job to squeeze it. Yeah, get more money.
Yeah, I mean that's raise your income or spend less. All right.
Yeah, raise your income, decrease your outcome.
Exactly. You got more discretionary income, and you can set that discretionary income aside for the wedding. Okay.
Yeah. And then on top of that, really the best way to save for a wedding, before you quote unquote get engaged, start discussing when y'all want to get married, so you can start financial. I mean, again, at the end of the day, engagements to my knowledge, are always a surprise, regardless if y'all you go ring shopping with her or not. I've never seen a woman who hasn't act like, you went and got the ring, you got fitted, and and then I've never seen a woman not act like she's being shot, she's being proposed to. So that's what I would discuss when y'all want to get married, when you want to have the anniversary, people, you got to fly in, all these type of things, and you can just start, budgeting for it ahead of time. Again, logically, if you know you want to do something, start saving for it, as early, as possible. Don't wait, if you can, until after you get engaged to start saving for the wedding, because by definition you have less time.
Exactly. Proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, proactive, not reactive. Prevention versus over-treatment, or whatever I was supposed to say. Preventative versus treatment. There we go.
Gotcha.
All right, last question.
You ready?
Yeah.
This is the last one in the clip. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So this was another question from one of our guests.
Oh, God. This
And
is
they
not good
wanted to
either.
know, what's the difference between being cheap and being smart? And again, that is the verbatim question.
I was going to ask you to ask this question. I realized I can't do that because we got to keep people protected.
Gotcha.
So first off, we're not cheap on Cordan in full effect.
Yes.
We are. Oh, okay.
No,
It's not
you-
cheap.
no,
I thought you.
I thought you was gonna plug you
Yeah,
in.
we're not
Okay.
cheap or frugal. We are
Wealth conscious.
We are wealth conscious over here. So there's no such thing as being cheap. I mean, again, you probably got a whole bunch of debt. That's what I'm thinking. Oh my goodness.
Put your bin up. So
Hey,
there's
yeah, I mean, when people ask, again, I do financial coaching. Like, I know how much. Again, as y'all see me just rambling off all these statistics, I know what a lot of the averages are, and unfortunately, they're not like 50%. So it's like 70, 80%. Of people in a certain situation financially. So most people are struggling financially. So again, a smart decision, right, would be this man is trying to pay off debt, so you might not be going out on dates at all. Oh Lord, hold on. Let me be clear. If a man is, by the way, man, you can date with debt, right? I mean, in our current, I like to say what it is, not what's wrong or right. Women don't want you out here if you're not paying for their stuff. But at the end of the day, you can obviously get out here and date, even if you have debt. But ladies, if you want to marry this man and he's saying, look, we can't go out on any dates at all because I'm paying off my debt so I can stabilize our finances so that we can get a house or that we can get, the engagement ring that you want, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see how that's being cheap, because in short, you want the short-term gratification over the long-term gratification.
Which means you're in the market for for the wrong stuff anyway. But
yeah, a lot of you are marrying boyfriends and girlfriends. You're not marrying actual husband and wives. You marry this man and he still doesn't realize y'all need to be financially stable.
Exactly.
That goes back to the husband, the house bond, the economics, the household management. It's like Jesus.
I also don't like the word cheap, right? I feel like it just means you buy the thing that is the lowest, the lowest cost.
Lowest value,
Like,
it's low value. It doesn't last long.
And like Corey said, we're wealth conscious. We're not cheap. I think we're strategic. We're selective, right? I make selective purchase. Let's put it this way. I think we've said it before. We purchase. I don't shop.
I don't shop and make purchases.
Exactly.
That's me. Don't say we. That's my phrase.
It doesn't.
Like,
Corey's phrase. I implement it. I do implement it.
Yeah.
I pull up with the amount that I want to spend and tell you exactly what I want. I don't need to shop. I didn't come here to browse. I knew what I wanted when I wanted it, because I've been saving for it for the past 6 months. You know what I mean?
Right,
We don't shop, we make purchases.
Yeah.
So that being the case, cheap is a negative connotation. I mean, if you're dating somebody who's just out here buying the lowest value of things, then he's not necessarily wealth conscious. He might actually be cheap. So.
Right, exactly. And then you said the positive word is frugal. Let's say we're not cheap or frugal or wealth conscious. People use the word frugal instead. Well, in all honesty, women are going to call you broke, fellas. That's why the first question was asked. They're going to say you're broke, right? They're probably saying that about us.
I'll be broke with no debt in my house. I mean,
y'all have gauged how much money Jordan and I make, so
I'll be
that's why I need the number though. As I said, Jordan and I might make the cutoff. We might still be broke, but
I mean, that's cool.
Jordan's married. He does not care at all. I'm not
completely checked out.
So, but yeah,
there's only one person that can call me broke and hurt my feelings, and there's nobody listening to this other than Pia. So,
so
shout out to you.
We're gonna ask her what the number is though. You're like, it's definitely at least what Jordan makes. No, but yeah, I mean the difference between being cheap or frugal, right, and being smart. It would be cheap even if you are on a budget where you budget to spend $100 on a date and you still don't spend the $100. That would be being cheap or frugal.
Yes.
Right? I mean, whatever you budget to spend for, right? Spend that. I mean, that's the whole point. Yeah, but I mean,
Jessica wants to go out.
Oh, Jessica!
Okay.
Jessica, you were the black woman we're talking about the whole time. I mean, I forgot to say. I meant to say that. That's all. Whenever I said black women, it was all about Jessica, so I can save myself. I'm lying. It's too late now. Too knee deep in. But yeah. So it's been an hour. I'm an hour late.
They forgot. And look, Jessica wants to go out to eat. So if you budget that $100, spend that $100. Don't be cheap. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But again, to me, and again, like I said, being on a budget, it's for me, as I'm thinking about it, right, once, I don't know, I guess the pandemic is over, like how much money I would spend going out to eat, the true answer is none. The main reason is I don't have any time. I don't have any time to do, the only time I have is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And people are like, well, that sounds like a lot of time. Not really, because I work, right? From 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., you guys, how do you think these videos, I mean, where do you guys think this stuff comes from, right? I'm doing some type of editing, working out, right? Studying to, again, have information for y'all. Then I work, quote unquote, my 9 to 5. And then from 5 to whenever I go to sleep, whatever I don't get done from 5 to 9, that's what I do from once I get off work, until I go to sleep. And then on Monday and Wednesdays, we have the FinallyFit class. So I have from 5 to 6. That's really my only time I have for real, because I have the class right after. From 5 to 6, ladies, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm open, right? I'm open. However, that's assuming I actually, quote unquote, stop working at 5. I mean, I'm a software developer, so I stopped. That's not how that works. I stopped working when my brain is done of ideas. And so, Jordan, real talk.
That's how, for real.
Hey, you get in the zone, I'm about to solve as much stuff as I can solve right now. It's hard to get in that development zone.
At the highest level possible, we have requirements, and it don't matter when those requirements get completed. They just need to be done by the deadline.
The Jira backlog is literally backed up. It's a whole backlog of stuff. So the main time I have from 5 to 6 before our class, because obviously, I got the class at 6 o'clock. But, on Tuesdays, once I'm off work, I'm either exercising if we have to do, any type of challenges that month, or I'm putting in work for the podcast, putting in work for my business, educating myself just in general from a financial standpoint, helping my clients, Jordan. And
I've been calling y'all. I'm like, y'all know I use all my services.
Yeah, helping my clients with anything, and obviously helping them. But again, I have to come with. I always tell them, don't run faster than me. Like I said, I didn't go to college for this, so I'm learning this stuff, as well as doing my job. So I got to take in all the information. Meditating, breathing exercises, reading, self-help books, not just finance books. On YouTube, doing research, YouTube Academy, right, University, all these type of things, Udemy. I'm doing all that type of stuff. So if I'm looking at like budgeting, and like on Saturdays, as you know, Saturday is my finance day. I book the entire day for Saturday. I'll do anything finance related. That's why I booked the entire day from the time I wake up till I go to sleep. And that's when, I meet with some of my clients on Saturdays, because obviously people have stuff to do during the week. Then obviously, we told y'all, we record these on Sunday. So Sunday is booked for the entire podcast. Obviously I can do stuff afterwards, but we keep getting better at stuff, but then we keep adding stuff to the plate. So
exactly.
We haven't figured out a way to do this in 3 hours or so, because we're trying to make it better for y'all. So when again, for me, that's what I was talking about earlier on the podcast files. How much do I spend? I'm probably only going out one date, you know what I mean? So I'll spend the $500, you know what I mean? Like, because when you add up, like you said, the Taco Bell, Chipotle, it's like, you're probably spending close to $500 in total. I'm talking about going out to eat food. So, that, I guess it would be cheap, but it's like, I just don't have the time. So I have $0 for you. Sorry. It's not that, but I'm quality of time person. So for my love language, not quantity. Quality. So look, 30 minutes. I'm good. I'll call you. I'll call you when I'm free. After that, I got some other stuff to do. And at the end of the day, you want all this stuff, man, ladies. How do you think it shows up?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Got to put the time in to get those dollars.
Yeah, no. So that's the difference between being cheap. Cheap would be you wouldn't be spending your full budget, even if you budget for it. And then again, being smart. Essentially, everything I've said on here. If I have no issue if a guy's saying he's budgeting and he did not budget for going out to eat because he's trying to get out of debt as fast as possible. That for me, that makes the most sense. Now, if y'all already together, good luck pulling that off.
Right.
But
if it's something that you've been putting in routine, most women will respect your ability to be fiscally responsible, aka wealth conscious.
What do you mean, most women who?
You said that if you're already together.
Oh, if you're already together, I thought you meant okay. I thought
that's what you said.
Yeah. I thought you were saying that most women in general. I was
no,
that's a lie. That's not true.
I thought you were saying
they will call y'all broke if you look. Y'all already know the internet.
I'm talking about once you already know the internet.
Yeah. Well, let me say this: if you don't, great.
Don't be together.
Time to break up. That's why I say you don't want to get married and oh my goodness. Yeah, that's bad.
Don't find out a showstopper once you're locked in. You close the door behind you.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that's bad. Woo! Almost 2.5 hours, y'all.
I think we're good.
We're good. Yeah, the rest of those questions you added that one, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you have anything? I mean, do you remember anything you said for fitness?
Listen, that was an hour and a half ago. No, I'm just
it was an hour and a half ago. OPT model, fitness journey, carbs.
Find your own why for your fitness journey. This will probably be my think piece for the day. What you're gonna have to realize is that your fitness journey is going to take some time, regardless of what the goal is. So your why is super important because it will become your intrinsic motivation on the days when things get hard. Because I'm not going to sit here in front and like fitness is all, it's all easy. It's work, okay? It's work. It puts you in uncomfortable situations more frequent than not, whether it be dietary, whether it be from putting in a level of effort on, workouts and exercise, whether it be getting more sleep than you've been getting, because people don't realize sleep is a part of the recovery process and that's necessary to execute a proper fitness lifestyle. So that being the case, you have to really want your goal, right? Because ultimately, all trainers or even your accountability group can do is hold you accountable or put the plan in place for you to be great, but you still have to execute the steps in order for it to work. So my think piece for the day is to pick a strong why for your fitness journey before you start, okay? Because if you don't, you're more likely to fall off the path throughout the duration of your fitness journey. You don't want that to happen. Last thing you want to do is get halfway around the board and have to start back from go. Okay.
Get back foot in jail.
No $200.
No $200.
Okay.
Go past go. Go collect.
Get money. Okay.
Oh my goodness. All right.
That being said, that's it.
All right. So for I got lucky today. Shout out to God. He's put again. This is a compound interest, y'all. I didn't write this today. So for my think piece today, since I talked to, I know what I did. I talked down about black women today. Whatever. So I am so terrible.
We love y'all.
Let's be clear. I'm trying to help y'all have better men and help y'all be more clear on the men that you want. Whatever. First off, I'm not married. I'm not married. Neither is y'all. So it's not like we even. And I don't got no debt. So we best case even there. Oh my goodness, they're gonna crucify me. If they find this, they will crucify me. I don't care though. I'm here for the fight. All right. So let me focus. We've been here long, and by the way, we got the freaking fans off, so I know Jordan's probably dying because I am too.
Just a little one. We are.
All right. So for the think piece, we're about to wrap up, y'all. So for this think piece, since we talked a lot about marriage, right, and what you look for, as I said, a lot of y'all, you married a boyfriend or girlfriend, not a husband or a wife. A lot of you are married legally, but not relationally, right? So you get married or engaged to someone who you're not willing to solve all of life's problems with. That's really what you need to do, right? And that's why I'm talking about the intentional marriage counseling. Before you get married, the 4 main things are how you're gonna handle finances, right? Money, how you're gonna raise kids, in-laws, and then religion. And at the end of the day, for me, the main cause of divorce is finance. Obviously, sex. Sex is a no-brainer. I think everybody knows that. That has to be talked about, which I don't discuss. But anyway, that obviously needs to be discussed. But
definitely need to talk about it.
Yeah, money, kids, in-laws, and religion. At the end of the day, that's all money, right? Because your kids is, college fund, right? What we're gonna do for them, savings account. In-laws, the biggest thing we're talking about weddings. If you want to see when your in-laws are going to be a problem financially, the wedding is usually, if it doesn't happen, it's going to happen there. So it's like your mom or dad or father-in-law, or they're going to, try to hold something over your head. Then when it comes to religion, for those of you who pay tithes, right, 10% of what you make, you would, bring that up there as well. So you need to marry someone who you're willing to solve all of life's problems with, because a lot of you are married to someone who you have completely different financial goals than. And it doesn't matter if your financial literacy level is different. Obviously, everyone comes to that from a different part or a different starting point. So you can, work your way together. But you need to marry someone who you're going to go through everything with. And Jordan, what the main thing you should be able to get through your spouse with? The main problem, the main issue?
The bad stuff, everything.
What's the worst thing, though? What's the number one?
The worst thing? Infidelity?
Death of a child. I highly recommend that you should. I know, and then people getting back to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. If you can bring this one up, discuss how you guys are going to handle the death of a child. And obviously not like a grown one, right? And not a miscarriage. Just people, women don't always go full term anyway. So those are different statistics on exactly what a miscarriage is. But I'm talking about, 2, 3 years old, right? A lot of people talking about, burying you 6 feet. You haven't seen nothing if you haven't been to a 3-foot casket funeral. 3-foot caskets, that is something that will burn in your head forever. So for those of you talking about the finances and stuff, if y'all are gonna, and then how do you even get to this mindset, right? Because this is literally the worst. As I said, it's the worst thing you can do. The only thing, this is worse than everything. I'd rather go through bankruptcy, owe tax, all that type of stuff. Obviously, everyone knows you never want to bury your child. However, that's the thing. What causes the most divorces? I would think the highest percentage rate, meaning if it happens,
right?
I'm pretty sure the percentage rate on if your child dies, because why did I get married? And he told Janet Jackson, oh, yeah, what's your name? Yeah, so, and that's unfortunate. And then on a sour note, but we look, keep it a band on here. I'm not a marriage counselor, but that's what I truly recommend. If y'all can figure out how you're going to go through the death of a child or some type of disabilities, things of that nature, that's going to put you in a great position. Because then y'all will be able to literally go through anything, because that's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Because if your house gets destroyed and your kid's still alive, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You owe all these taxes. It is like, that's one thing too. We can fix all the money issues.
Right.
I mean, you can make a new kid, which people do, but that's obviously something you never want to have to go through.
But it'll never be the same.
Yeah, it'll never be the same. Yeah, you only got DNA. You only got that only unique person right there.
Right.
So that is something I highly recommend y'all think about as well for the marriage thing. If you can go through the death of a child with someone you want to marry, your spouse, that'd be a very good position. Corey, you were single. What the hell do you know? Shoot. Clearly more than y'all. I know definitely more. I can do a marriage budget better than all the married people. So that's why I give the financial therapy advice on money. No, yes, that's my think piece for that. So we good to go?
I think we're good to go.
All right. Let me say it again. Shout out to the cancel episode. We don't care.
Look,
we're here to make an impact. Hey,
put that time in today.
Put that time in. Yeah, we put that work in today.
Those reps and sets.
Yeah, this is to compensate for the two episodes we missed.
Yeah.
Let's say that this is a compensate. Technically, that would be 2 more hours worth. But so we gave you an extra 30 minutes. We did miss 2 episodes. We're more settled now. This is where we're gonna be.
Yes.
We still gotta get a camera because I'm recording this on my phone, all this type of stuff. But the actual scenery, this will be pretty stable now.
As y'all can see, every couple episodes we're upgrading.
Yeah, we're progressing.
Right.
9 in. I think.
Hey,
you can go back and look on my timeline on my Instagram. Like you can all the stuff.
Next week's gonna be special. It's episode 10.
Episode 10. Would you? We into 20%.
That's officially marking that we are putting in work.
We're putting in work.
Okay.
That guy could have been lying though. He could have been 100% lying.
Yeah. It's okay. We're gonna celebrate it anyway.
Oh my goodness. But yeah. So.
Plugs one more time?
Yeah, shameless plug. So you can follow me again at sideline_Cory. Again, that's sideline_Cory. You can follow Jordan at
Stop Stalling J. That's STOPSTALLINGJAY on everything. You can follow the business at FinallyFit06. That is FINALLYFIT06. IG and Facebook.
Right. I was prepping for what else I had to say, and I
It's
forgot.
all good. It's all good.
And then obviously you can follow us on YouTube at Cordan in Full Effect. Again, that's Cordan in Full Effect. If you watch this whole video, please comment and let us know, because ultimate credit to you. And then share, subscribe,
Please.
Hit that bell for the notification. If you have not already,
give us that feedback.
Yes,
we really want that.
Yeah, help us out for the YouTube algorithm, and obviously leave the reviews on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. I think that is it. Oh, I've been doing more of the real stuff. So if you want some more financial information, my Instagram, I got that board that I thought I was never going to use, but that's why I bought it. Giving more, yeah.
He has some really useful information on there, guys. So please check that out.
I'm not a financial advisor though.
His most recent reel has covered the gift tax.
Yeah, so. I'm going to go over that on the podcast as well, more in depth. But actually, it's not going to be. It actually is what I did. I mean, it's not going to be a minute of reel, but
right.
Yeah, I'm going to go over the gift tax.
It's impressive. He's wrapping up some complicated concepts in about 30 seconds, though. So definitely check those out.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how you can get $180,000 no taxes in 1 year.
Unless y'all know how to do that, tune in. Okay.
Well, people have to have the money to give to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's
a gift. But so we're making more traction on everything. So appreciate y'all supporting. I think we're good to go.
All right.
So just remember to save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
And we will catch y'all in the next one.
Let's go.